buy a beer in the neighborhood. Call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was at a...
All right, welcome in 98.5, the Sports Hub of Joe Murray, and we are in full swing. Full shows every night. No interruptions, no games, no nothing, just us, takes, sports, fun, and laughter, and we got another big night for you here on 98.5, the Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray, and I said it really long there, but that was me saying it normally. Skaz is here tonight, and our intern Luke is back. We're going to Luke around and find out at some point regarding him. But where do we start today? And it's kind of interesting. I was really hoping for a nice little Celtics long run to another championship, so now I have to find out other ways to fill this content. And to me, what's the story of the day? That I know there's a bunch of NFL rule changes. We'll get into that. I have some lingering thoughts regarding Don Sweeney being back. Fluto Shinzawa, The Athletic, wrote something about it today that I wanted to jump in on. There's more Jordan, but we kind of covered it last night. We got the news late last night. Bill's Boat has a new name. But I wanted to start Patriots today. OTAs were this weekend. We talked to Mike Hadlick last night of Sports Illustrated, and I didn't really ask him the question about what did you think of the turnovers and interceptions from Drake May. I didn't think it was a storyline, or I didn't want to really get into the quarterback throwing interceptions on day 2 of OTAs. So I didn't feel like it was necessary to get on him yet about it. But I went down a rabbit hole, and I wanted to think about Drake May for a little bit today. The Patriots have catered to Drake May. And by the way, I think most NFL teams do cater to their quarterback, and I think that they should. This is the face of the team, the captain, the best player, one of the reasons why you'd be successful, the one with the ball in their hands to make big decisions. You should cater to your star quarterback. So I'm going to say that right now. Patriots have catered to Drake May, which they should. But there's a lot of risk here. He has struggled at times with turnovers. His wins, he's got one. He struggled to win games, road, home, whatever. There's been no advantage for him. But the Patriots have catered to him this offseason. They beefed up the offensive line. Right? They brought in probably 4 or 5 new guys. Not to mention drafting Will Campbell. They've added 2 veteran receivers in Mac Hollins and Stephon Diggs. They also added another wide receiver in the draft and an undrafted free agency. They drafted an impactful running back in Trevion Henderson, who can do multiple things. Block, run between the tackles, and also catch out of the backfield. They traded away Joe Milton, who was on a rookie deal, who showed out in the final game last season. And they brought in Josh Dobbs instead of a competitive veteran. Again, catering to Drake May. They spent big money in free agency on defense, which should also help Drake May, because last year there were times where the offense would be out there and then the defense would be out there all for a really long time. They could not stop the run. So all those things are true. They're catering to him, but he's clearly the starter. Does he have the ability to make mistakes and stay on the football field? Do they have that type of ability in time? There's a lot of expectations for the team this year. Drake May played in an awful situation a year ago. And that's why I bring up the question, isn't that what last year was for? At first, I was against Drake May starting the season. They went with Jacoby Brissett, even though I think Mayo probably wanted Drake May and said he even won the battle. But he didn't have to play right away to develop. But in a way, the way that coaching staff ended up, like in hindsight, it probably was best for him to learn. I mean, he ran for his life. He turned the ball over a ton, and I want to get into some of those turnover numbers. But don't you think those are the things he should have shook off a year ago? That's why I ask, does he have the ability to make mistakes but also stay on the football field for the team? Like this season, I think the Patriots should make it about becoming a desirable destination and become a team that free agency players want to play with Drake May, or if trades happen, they say they want to play for the Patriots and Mike Vrabel. That's what I think is the most important thing this season, not wins and losses. Most people say, oh, Joe, what do you think about the win total? I'm on the under, because what I care about is this place becoming a destination. Drake May's on that rookie deal. This is the time now to improve the team and build around him. And yes, they're catering around him. I still think he's going to make mistakes because that's what most second-year players do. Or first-year players, for that matter, because it's hard to really take away what happened with him last year. Yes, up and to the right, he looks like they got their guy. But when you hear 4 interceptions in practice, I didn't want to make anything about it. But turnovers were an issue for Drake May last season. He threw 10 interceptions. He had 9 fumbles. I didn't want to react to a 4-interception day at a meaningless OTA, but you know what? Now I'm starting to think about it. So I ask the question. Do we need to lower our expectations for a second-year quarterback? A second-year quarterback that's Drake May with his second offensive coordinator. Do we need to temper the expectations for Drake May as a second-year quarterback because of the interceptions and turnovers a year ago? There's a lot of expectations for the Patriots this year. But as far as people saying they're going to win 8 games, they can be a playoff team, I think the development of Drake May is number one. I think Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels helping Drake May and that defense and the rest of the players develop and becoming a desirable destination is what's best for the team. So if they throw Drake May out there and they play a competitive game, but he throws 3 interceptions and one of them cost him the game, I still think they keep him out there. I don't think that his play on the field, I asked this, does his mistakes take him away from the field? I'll say no. But I just think people should temper their expectations that this year, you may still see the turnovers. You may still see the fumbles. He's still a progressing quarterback who's going to make mistakes with a second-year offensive coordinator. Another one. Do we need to lower our expectations for Drake May in his second year? 617-779-0985. That's the phone number. You can join us on YouTube as well. Just about to pop in there right now. Go see our friends over there. You just go to youtube.com and then search 98.5 The Sports Hub. Click subscribe. Well, I got a bunch of people in there already. I see Joe. I see Ed. I see Tim. I see Soup. I see a lot of people. So come on in and hang out with us tonight. 617-779-0985. And I have numbers. I wanted to compare the rookie seasons of some of the past draft picks and what the expectations for Drake May in year 2 should be. We'll do all that coming up here on the other side. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening.
including Drake, to pick up what we want to do offensively and defensively. And now that has to start to translate onto the practice field in a spring setting without pads. And, I think that we're off to a good start. I think we had a positive day. We're able to mix some speed stuff in and some competitive stuff to a point. Kept guys off the ground, got a bunch of looks and a bunch of reps. So I think we're off to a good start, and, Drake's a part of that.
Sports Hub, I'm Joe Murray. Well, that's Mike Vrabel talking about his quarterback that they're catering to, which is fine. I think you should cater to the star quarterback. Always cater to the starting quarterback. I mean, in baseball, are the Red Sox catering to Rafael Devers? In hockey, was it Jeremy Swayman that was catered to this year? Do they cater to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Yeah, they do. But what has Drake May proven? I'll tell you, I think the guy can play. I liked his awareness. He was the best quarterback on the roster last year. He was the best quarterback at camp last year. But with the offensive line and lack of receiver help and even coaching for all that matter, he had a pretty good season. But the turnovers were an issue. They were. Not to mention he runs a ton. The fumbles. He had 9 fumbles. So what I wanted to do here was let's use what happens here in New England and compare it against other quarterbacks. We'll do that in a second. But Skaz, I wanted to bring you in on this. I, yesterday, again, wanted to just kind of avoid the 4 interceptions. It's hard for me to get on a guy for a non-game game experience to throw turnovers. But there are some quarterbacks in history that just you have to accept the turnover. Jameis Winston's a guy that if he plays, you're going to have to expect he's going to have a turnover, right? Like, that's just who he is now. There are some Drew Bledsoe. When he played here, you just had to assume, when's it coming?
How about Eli?
Eli, man, when's it coming? Hall of Famer Eli. Soon.
I mean, even Josh Allen for a time felt that way.
Exactly. And, it's funny because I got these numbers for you coming up in a minute here, but Drake May, do you know I felt that way at times last year?
I think rightfully so.
And they were all late in the game, right? In a pressure situation. So this is the off season, right? Like I don't think it's a problem yesterday, but I'm bringing up the concern that maybe Drake May, for the athletic ability that he has and the high he plays big plays. He's a big play guy. For every one of those guys, you also get a turnover as well.
And I think you're going to have to live with that for a little while. I think that's kind of got to be the expectation. He's a young quarterback. He hasn't had, last year he had no team really around him. This year, I hope they, cut him loose is probably a little too strong, but I hope they give him some freedom this year. Let him make some of those mistakes and learn from them. Like that's what you need out of a young quarterback. The Bills did it with Josh Allen. I'm sure it took longer than they wanted with Allen for him to kind of turn that corner on the turnovers, but look at the product they have now. He's an MVP. He's that caliber of player, and that's obviously what you're dreaming of Drake May becoming. So yeah, I think Drake May is going to have some turnovers, but that's the growing pains. I'm more than fine with it. I hope they don't get too conservative and we see like the Mac Jones offense where they're not letting him throw it more than 5-10 yards down the field. That's not who Drake May is. If you're going to cater the roster to Drake May, let him run wild, let him throw it down the field. Let's not get crazy with the running out of the pocket. You don't want to see him get hurt, but that's part of who Drake May is, and I think it's going to take a couple of years for that to be managed. So that was my question. Do we need to lower the expectations for Drake May in his second year? Like, he didn't have a full season. He now has a different offensive coordinator. So I wanted to play the game. Did you know a rookie quarterback, had the most interceptions last year? I mean, I want to say it was Caleb, but I don't know. Bo Nix. He also played all 17 games. Yeah, there you go. So he had 12 interceptions, which I guess isn't bad, right? It's not too bad. He was sacked 24 times. It's a lot. Jaden Daniels, pretty good, right? Very good. 9 interceptions last year.
sacked 47 times.
Too many times.
Caleb Williams only had 6 interceptions last year. Do you know how many times he was sacked?
A lot.
68.
Way too many. It's Derek Carr numbers or David Carr.
There you go. And just to be accurate, I wanted to give you the Drake May numbers too, so I can compare the Drake May to the others. And I went back each draft, Skaz. And again, he had 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, but 9 fumbles. So, who was the star quarterback drafted the year before Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Kate? It was Bryce Young, right?
Well, C.J. Stroud as well, right?
Got him in there. Let's do Bryce Young first. He had 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and 11 fumbles. He was sacked 62 times his rookie year. So what happened in 2024? He started, he lost, he got benched, right? They put him back in. He had 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Sacked 29 times and fumbled 5. So I would say that's an upgrade, right? C.J. Stroud, you mentioned, right? Well, in 24, he had 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 8 fumbles, was sacked 38 times. That's a solid year. Do you know how he followed up with that one? 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 52 sacks, 6 fumbles. I think C.J. Stroud took a legitimate step back. So, like the year 2 expectations, I mean, people in Washington think Jaden Daniels is going to be great. Like, he is good. But, like, he put up some incredible numbers. I think you have to be a little bit of aware of maybe more turnovers because he's going to try to force some things a little bit more.
Yeah, I also saw Terry McLaurin didn't show up for camp today.
Oh, great.
So that's always what you want with your young quarterback is his best weapon, maybe a little disgruntled. I would imagine they get that deal done, but that's the Patriots are kind of, be in a similar situation where, look what the Seahawks did. Look what the Chiefs kind of did. Like, you want to pay these guys now. You want to bring in a Steph Diggs. And I know the money wasn't exorbitant for the Patriots, but you have to kind of capitalize this window. That's, and then figure out if you have a guy, and then you become, the Bills or the Ravens or the Chiefs, and you continue to do that. Yep. But the Patriots are going to be in this situation where we need to find out about Drake May within the next, season, 2 seasons. I think even 2 seasons is kind of a lot, but it seems as though they're doing everything right to build the team for Drake May.
I would just say that both C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are the clear starters for their team going into the season. There might be some concerns, but for the most part, they're the guy. How about Brock Purdy drafted in 20? He was the best quarterback in the 2022. I didn't want to put Kenny Pickett or guys like that in there. But Brock Purdy, his first year, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 11 sacks. 2023, he threw for 4,000 yards and 31 touchdowns. So that was a first-year bounce back, though. Big one. Trevor Lawrence in 2021 had 17 interceptions, sacked 32 times, 9 fumbles, and their team records, guys, 3-14. Sound familiar?
Not great.
How'd he bounce back his next year? The team went 9-8. He threw for 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns. He had 8 interceptions, 27 sacks, but his fumble numbers went up to 12. But is that the path for Drake May?
I hope Drake May's path is nothing like Brock Purdy's.
Okay, so let's continue. How about Justin Herbert? Justin Herbert's rookie year, which he wasn't supposed to start, but because of a malfunction of the
Tyrod Taylor, right?
Taylor, exactly. Justin Herbert had 10 interceptions, sacked 32 times, and 8 fumbles his rookie year. He followed up with a 9-8 season, 5,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 31 sacks, 1 fumble. That is the second-year jump.
That's what you're hoping for.
So is Trevor Lawrence more like... is Drake May more like Trevor Lawrence or Justin Herbert this year? And the outlier of those three is if he had a 20-12 and 20-12 is it's not doing enough, right? Like, I think he should be a 30-touchdown guy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Everything we're being sold on Drake May is high potential, elite athleticism. He should be, right around that 30 number.
Yeah. So I'm just going by quarterbacks that were drafted, what they did their first year, those that had turnovers and fumbles, and in their second year, what they did. Of all the quarterbacks, CJ Stroud's the one that really took the step back. This is outside of Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett and the other guys that were drafted in the first round. And
Zach Wilson.
Exactly. I just went by who was the best quarterback in that draft.
No, and I think Stroud's a good one because he was kind of anointed after his first season.
Yeah.
People were like, this guy's a top 5. And he deserved it. Like, he was incredible. There were weeks in his rookie year where he looked like the best quarterback in the league at times. And then you see, and I know his receivers got a little banged up. Steph Diggs, it didn't really help him out too much down there, which is another thing to consider. So, yeah, I think the Stroud thing is a good one because he's a guy where the entire league basically was like, oh, he's the next franchise cornerstone quarterback. And then whether it was defenses is figuring him out, the game plan being too similar, his weapons going down, whatever it was, I think that was the most surprising regression by any quarterback last year.
That's right. Anyways, I one day just thought about it today. I didn't really, when we had Mike Catlick on, I go, I don't want to complain about the 4 interceptions, but do you think there's any issues with McDaniels and May, is the way I phrased the question. And he thought that they got into the huddle every time. He mentioned how many times they switched up the offensive line groups. He said they were like rotating like every snap.
Hockey line changes.
Yeah, like legitimately. So, in a way, I kind of like that, Skaz, because you just never know when you need to. And the Pats were pretty big this year on the linemen being able to play 3 positions. I'm not saying that, Mike and Wenu is going to be playing center and snapping footballs, but all the other guys, no, I don't see Moses doing it or even Campbell, but he wants the interior guys to be able to play guard and center. And I'm down with that. Hey, if you got to get in for a play, and you got to know. But the turnovers, is it a concern for the Patriots? Listen, they took a day off today to go have another practice tomorrow. I just wanted to bring up that one of the news stories yesterday was Drake May's interceptions and what the expectations should be for year 2. And the big jumps were Justin Herbert, and the other jump was Trevor Lawrence. And you would hope, hey, if he's in between them, let's say he's not what Justin Herbert was, but he had 15 interceptions and 30 touchdowns, and they went 8 and 9. Fine. Pretty important year. All right, 617-779-0985. That's the phone number if you want to jump aboard. You can also join us in our YouTube chat as well. We're here until 11 o'clock. I did want to take just a quick call before we went to break, and I did finally just see some of those NBA MVP numbers, which I thought was interesting. I want to get into those in a minute here. But we got Brian in Pembroke. What's up, Brian?
Hey, what's up, Joe? Hey, you talk about catering to Drake May, which is great. Coaching staff, awesome. Exactly what he needed. But I can't help but think this offense, after, say, Diggs goes down, which he probably will at some point this year, the offense after Diggs, gross. Just like last year. I don't know. I'm not confident about what they did on offense.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably another reason why Drake May could struggle, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just scary that we're relying on a guy coming back from a big injury to, help out a quarterback that really, really needs it. Trayvon Henderson's not the answer as far as that goes. And let's face it,
you don't know that. I'm gonna. You know what, Brian? Brian, did you watch this guy or no?
He was unbelievable, and he's flashy.
No, but what was his number one best trait?
I thought his breakaway.
No, he can protect.
Obviously,
protect the quarterback. He is a beast there. He was very good at that. He did that for a bunch of different quarterbacks that are successful.
Let's watch out for that McDaniels screen game. That is the most boring thing in the world, though. You got to think about that, too.
You know what's funny? And I appreciate you, Brian. Thank you for setting an expectation that you're concerned. Do you know what I did on my way in, Skaz? And I didn't complete the experiment. I Googled quarterbacks under Josh McDaniels as a head coach. And a Reddit page popped up, which I don't like to do. But, man, this guy went really into detail.
You don't have 5 Reddit accounts, Joe?
I don't have 5. I don't even know if I have 1. You know what I do now? You ever, have to sign into something and it just goes, do you want to use your email? And then you just click, your Google. It just makes a name for you. Do you know that? I
did not know.
So when it says log in, I have no clue. And then it says, do you want to sign in with your email? And I say, yes. And I'm like, whoa, I'm in. Anyways, there was this huge Reddit of the quarterbacks that played under Josh McDaniels. And basically the Reddit was like, he is hugely overrated. if you take Tom Brady out of this sucks. It was 20-33 was his record, I think. The jury's out. I'm not calling him suspect just yet. Not yet. There's 2 days of OTAs. The jury is out. 617-779-0985. You also should have saw maybe you could grab this one, Luke, but I hit my pen on the desk, and it went flying, through the air. I wonder what the YouTube thought of that one. All right, we'll take a quick break. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, NBA news. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander named NBA MVP. Beats out Nikola Jokic. Jason Tatum finished 4th.
breaking sports news.
Powered by Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
On 98.5, The Sports Hub.
Well, some sad news out of the NFL. Colts owner Jim Irsay has passed away. A statement from the Indianapolis Colts. We're devastated to announce that our owner, Jim Irsay, passed away peacefully in his sleep this afternoon. His dedication, passion for the Colts, in addition to his generosity to the community, and most importantly, his love for his family, were unsurpassed. Our deepest sympathies go out to his daughters and the entire family as we grieve them. Of course, his dad purchased the Colts so many years ago, but breaking NFL news, the Colts have announced that Jim Irsay has passed away. So I figured that's breaking news here. And of course, you know, Irsay has been a polarizing figure. I'm sure here on the station, Colts-Patriots was one of the biggest rivalries since the station started. And Jim Irsay has been known for some very good clips. You know, he was very fired up when they drafted Quentin. And I'm sure you guys know the famous quote. We'll save that for another day because the man has passed. But Colts owner Jim Irsay has passed away. And he has, I'm not going to speculate again. He passed away in his sleep. I think over the last couple of years, he has dealt with some health issues. To read the rest of this statement here, Jim's generosity can be felt all over Indianapolis, the state of Indiana, and the country. He'll be deeply missed by his family and the Colts organization, fans everywhere, but we remain inspired by his caring and unique spirit, which I think that's a very touching thing to say regarding Jim Irsay. Very interesting spirit. So that just came out, and I believe his father, Robert, passed away in 97. And then Jim took over. If you think about it, he was there during the Peyton Manning run, right? Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, Hall of Famers. Reggie Wayne during that era. And the age at just 65 years old. Very young. Very young. So there were some, I mean, I'm sure he would he be at these meetings today? Who would vote on these things, guys? Today, like when was it the owners that were voting on this? I know that like the tush push and the onside kick. So I mean, they're league meetings, so maybe it's representatives from teams. I'm almost wondering if maybe the general manager of the Colts was involved in that and not Irsay.
I mean, from like what you read, it says like the tush push ban did not receive enough votes from NFL owners.
Okay. Wow.
I saw he did tweet like 7 hours ago to go Pacers.
Oh,
So
really?
I wonder, moment of silence tonight, or maybe they wait for, game 3 in Indiana. But yeah, a guy, I mean, an active NFL owner, like you said, 65, that's young. Kind of built the Colts into a legitimate, I mean, Peyton Manning,
He hired really great people.
Yeah.
Like
say what you want about Bill Polian, but yeah.
You're right. Hell, Bill Polian was great.
Yeah.
I know he hated the Patriots, but you know what? You respect. Listen, the man's no longer with us. I think we've learned that when someone passes, you say the right things, right? You do the right things. You don't talk about the other things. You don't do that. But if I'm talking about Irsay, he inherited a program that got Peyton Manning and hired the right people where they were. Think about Peyton Manning's first year. I know I'm doing this Drake May, like
what, 20-something interceptions or whatever
sacked,
it was?
where most, you know what I mean? Like, I go back to Troy Aikman, horrible first year. But just keeping with the Colts, though, like, Bill Polian and that team, I mean, Dwight Freeney, you just name the players. Andrew Luck. Guy was there for all of that. I know he wasn't spearheading Deflategate, but You know, he had involvement in that. Remember, they beat the Colts in a playoff game. But Jim Irsay has passed away at the age of 65. And again, I'm sure people will maybe look back to his lifestyle and things of that degree. And I'm not here to do that today. And there'll be funny clips that you can play of the guy. I'm sure he was a character. He was. But from everything that I'm reading right now and people coming out and showing their support, they love this guy. You asked Skaz off the break, who would take over. He does have kids. So I'm not sure.
I did read that when he had medical issues in the past, one of his daughters stepped up and did that. So maybe that's how it goes.
I assume because he inherited the family. Again, I'm assuming. I'm sure maybe the kids inherit it. They have many options, right? The Indianapolis Colts are probably I'm just hypothetically saying if they had to put a number on their franchise, it's a very lucrative franchise with a lot of success, and sad to hear about that. I enjoyed Jim Irsay's commentary. Again, when Quentin Nelson was drafted, he was fired up, man. He was fired up. And, our condolences to Jim Irsay, Colts owner, who passed away today at the age of 65. We'll take a quick break. We'll get the show back on track here. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
The 9-098-5. We do a rundown, and then it just never works. Can we get back into the Walker Buehler thing from last night? When Skaz, we do a Slack channel. Skaz is up all night, I think, because I go to bed. Like, I get home, we'll stay. No, Skaz, I will stay up all night.
You'll tell me that maybe once a week you're Joey Recliners.
Oh my God, yeah, but you know what it is? I do it all. Like I've missed the last two, Last of Us. I got to catch up on a documentary. So I would. No, the thing is that Skaz, is I would do it all in that one night. So then I'd wake up at 6 a.m. and I'd be like, boy, I stayed up all night long. So I have to force myself. But this morning when I woke up, the first thing I saw on my Twitter handle lines, whatever you call it, whatever. First thing I saw this morning was Walker Buehler chirping people on Twitter. I like this guy now. But I wanted to mention some of these tweets that I saw. They were in our Slack this morning, so I wanted to throw it in there because I like a good chirping. Like, oh yeah, like when Kevin Durant chirps people, I love that. At Chris Cotillo from Walker Buehler, who cut the distance? He wrote regarding what did he talk about? Oh, it was Laz Diaz on Buehler. He can say stuff from the mound, but once he comes off the mound, he's leaving his position to argue balls and strike. Once anybody leaves their position to argue balls and strike, that's an immediate ejection. Walker Buehler, who cut the distance? I like that one. Also, I wouldn't want me out there either. Sad thing is the bullpen is full of bleeping animals. Tough choice. And this is him talking about how corny the ejection was and how Francisco Lindor was talking crap, screaming and rooting for the ejection. You think of that? That was kind of Bush League, right? You know what, though? I don't know why, but I like that gamesmanship. I know it's Bush League.
I have no issue with Lindor trying to get the opposing pitcher thrown out. No issue with it. Was it a little, Bush League, if that's what you want to call it? But I hope the Red Sox would do the same thing.
To be consistent, when Tom Brady got hit late after a throw, I begged the official. And so did Tom, right? It's gamesmanship. That is gamesmanship. Now, is it frowned upon by some old timers? I'm sure it is. You know what's real Bush League is when you say I got it on a pop up out on that. But you're down with that one too, huh? You like that?
What do you mean?
Okay, let's say there's 2 outs in the inning, fly ball to the shortstop. I got it. And the guy just gets out of the way and the ball drops.
Oh, they're trying to play the infield fly rule.
You know who was big on that was A-Rod.
Oh, yeah.
That's Bush League. Out on that. But did you know? I called the ump last night, Stone Cold Steve Austin, so maybe I should have. He looks like Stone Cold without a goatee. But according to ump scorecards, Mike Eastabrook was 93% accurate of calling balls and strikes in last year. That ranked 32nd amongst 35 umpires. That's not good.
Some would even say that's bad.
Like, when things are good, I always say, is that good? Is that good? This, as Skaz said, you could call it bad. That's bad. So I think Walker Buehler has an argument. And we'll save this for later on in the night. Because Pedro spoke about the current state of the Red Sox, which we'll get to in a bit. But did you know that Alex Cora broke the bullpen phone last night?
I saw that.
And they were holding it up just like John Cusack and Say Anything.
I believe, Rob Refsnyder was the guy behind that, I think. A little Simba action, like holding them up on Pride Rock there.
Yeah. See, I like that. That's what the team needs, camaraderie.
It's a long season, Joe. I'm in for any, Wally head.
That's what I'm saying.
Wally sliding gloves.
Even the mail cart.
The mail cart.
All right, like I'm starting to get it now.
The little dance moves when they, hit a double.
This team needs everything.
Garrett Crochet, his dugout shenanigans when he's not pitching, I'm in. I'm in for all of it.
They need it. They're trying to find togetherness. They don't have it. I agree with it. I think that the last two nights, with Cora now getting ejected and not being there, I think they're finding ways to win. And I'll just say this one. Tonight, Garrett Crochet's on the mound. It's cold. Are we going to hear it's cold? Was it cold at Fenway today? I was cold today. I'm wearing my sweatshirt right now. 73 pitches at the moment for Crochet in the fifth inning. So, not sure exactly how long the bullpen's going to go tonight, considering they've been used so much of late. All right, we'll take a break. No, we're not. We're going to go to the headlines. We got more. You know who we're going to talk to in the next hour? Doug Kyed. He was at OTA, so I'm going to bring up the coach questions to him coming up in a little bit here. And what else do we have tonight? Eli Hershkovich is going to join us from thelines.com, big betting guy. I know he had some win totals regarding the Patriots this year, and he's one of the best college basketball guys that I know. So maybe we'll know who the Celtics may draft. So we'll do all that as we're here until 11 o'clock tonight. I'm Joe Murray. Let's get the headlines here. No commercials. You're listening to 98.
From the Telfair Type Studios, WBZ FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz. Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, well, breaking news. Colts have announced that their owner, Jim Irsay, has passed away. He was 65 years old, passed away peacefully in his sleep, they mentioned in a statement. Red Sox are underway over at Fenway Park. They trail New York, the Mets, 1-0 right now in the fifth inning. NBA MVP award was announced. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jason Tatum finished fourth. Nikola Jokic, the runner-up. You will see Game 1 of the Pacers, the New York Knicks, coming up in just a little bit. And, well, that's all I got. Headlines, they are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
Joe, are you a fan of Press Cafe? It is fantastic. I don't get over there much because it's so busy all the time. But have I had like a pressed panini sandwich? I absolutely have. Arnold says he's rocking his new winter jacket because it's so that way. Like, if you got to stop it. They needed 24 votes. They got 22. There were teams that sided with the Eagles. They included the Ravens, Patriots, Jets, and Lions. So, Mike Vrabel at the annual meetings last March, if you remember, what I think we should not do and be careful of is there's a lot of different plays that you have to defend that the offense does well. And that play, you have to defend it. It's also tough to defend Lamar Jackson when he runs the ball. So I'm all in favor of getting rid of those plays that are tough to defend. But we just try to focus on what the rules are and try to use them to our advantage. Any issues today with the rule changes, guys? Or none thereof?
No, honestly, I was happy to see this. I want my football team, who's ever running my football team, to want to play football, to not be afraid of the tush push. I think it's a play in the game. You got to stop it. I think it's a I don't want to say a bad look. That's probably a little too strong, but I'm happy that the team we root for, cover, whatever you want to call it, that they, say, yeah, the tush push, not a big deal. I did notice that it seemed like a lot of NFC teams were wanting that rule change. They have to deal with the Eagles more often, but yeah, I think the whole tush push thing has been wildly overrated.
I guess it was heated today.
Good.
So heated that Jason Kelsey had to go in. He's retired. I guess it's good that he went
He's
in there.
the tush push spokesperson now.
I am the official tush pusher.
I mean, he is an expert, Joe. He was the guy pretty much leading the charge.
You know what? If I need an expert on tush, I'm going to a Kelsey. Right?
Probably Jason. I don't know about Travis.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know nothing. But think of the teams here. The Lions, the Jets, the Ravens. Notice those guys who were with the Eagles and got full-time jobs elsewhere? Are they voting against the tush push now that they're not with the Eagles anymore? Think about that.
Well, I think the Lions, they're afraid of it, Joe. I think a little bit. Teams that, when you say the Lions, I'm like, they don't want to lose in the playoffs again.
True. Just find it interesting that like Kellen Moore, was a big. He didn't vote. He voted against it.
And what a shock!
Yet it helped them literally win the Super Bowl. This is hypocrite. I've been using the word hypocritical all week long. Have you noticed that? Every time I say something, it's like, well, I felt this way, but I also felt. You mean to tell me the guy who helped offensive coordinate a Super Bowl and then got a head coaching job? Do we know if he actually got, before I give this take, do we know? At least we know 4 teams, right? Were the Saints one of them? Because again, Kellen Moore, if that's the case.
The Saints voted against the tush push ban.
Thank you.
So they're
safe. Okay.
They're okay with the tush push.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. So Kellen Moore held up his side of the bargain, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about like Shane Steichen or other guys that have been, with the Eagles in the past that are head coaches? Just curious about those guys. See, I almost faulted someone for something they didn't do, Skaz. So I'm glad to know that Kellen Moore was loyal to the bird. Loyal to the tush. That makes me feel better about society. So I guess things did get heated today. A discussion occurred as what is called a general session, attended by owners and team league executives. Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie made an impassioned speech in defense of the play. Towards the end of the speech, Lurie made an analogy, telling the room that regardless of whether the play was banned, it was a win-win for the Eagles, adding that it's like a... I can't say that on the air. This is an ESPN article. I can't say that. I can't say that. Yet ESPN just produced it right there. Jerry Jones asked a few questions, of course. Bills owner Terry Pagula was a critic of the tush push. With Josh Allen, huh? He's a critic of it. Uh-huh. It's because you got stuffed on 2 4th down plays? Is that what happened? Ooh, pettiness. I love it. Jed York of the 49ers said, how much more bleep do we need to say? There were a few scattered laughs throughout the day in the room. Goodell adjourned, which is attended by owners and top league executives, and the ban failed. It was voted 22-10. 2 votes shy of 24. This eventually is going to get banned, Skaz. I don't know how many more. Someone's going to get burned by the tush push next year and go against it. Jerry Jones issues with the play. Kelsey said he understood where the Cowboys owner was coming from and agreed on some of the points. Multiple sources noted it was refreshing to hear about a rule that is impacted from a player's perspective and how it could lead to more players weighing in on significant potential rule changes. Anyways, everybody, they settled it. The tush push is going nowhere. Just stop the play, everybody. Just stop the play.
Yeah, I did think it was kind of funny. The Eagles posted, they were doing a little trolling after the vote came out, and the picture they posted was of a game against the Packers in their tush-push formation. In the play they actually posted, the still picture, the Packers stopped the tush-push on that play. So I just thought that was interesting. The Eagles are like, you can stop it, but I think they're kind of, good for them, enjoying it. The Patriots used to kind of go through this when you're winning, and there's some rule changes against you. Why not gloat a little bit?
Peacock, you mean?
Yeah, Peacock. A lot of Peacock talk this week, Joe.
Wow.
The Weenie 500, some Peacock, and we've been all over the place.
Oh, the Weenie 500. Told you I'm gonna live stream that bad boy this week. I'm excited for that. Do you think there's a Twitter handle, Weenie 500?
Might have to start squatting on one. I don't know. We could make one.
Squatting, huh? All right. Well, we'll talk some rule changes with Doug Kyed. He's of the Boston Herald. I know was at OTAs. He's got a lot of thoughts on things. And why don't we talk to him? I wonder how he feels about the push. The push of the tush. I'm just looking for some tush. All right, we'll talk to Doug Kyed. He's of the Boston Herald, and we'll do that next. I'm Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Ready? Let's do this spot. Ready? That's the fun we have on the show tonight. We were just having some fun with a little pushback regarding the tush push. Let's talk to our buddy Doug Kyed. He covers the Patriots for the Boston Herald. He's got his Patch Chat podcast as well, and he joins us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Doug Kyed, how you doing, buddy?
Joe, I'm doing well. I wish I could get the Descendants to be the intro for the Patch Chat podcast, but we don't have that kind of money.
Well, listen, I don't even... I guess we're lucky to have a little bit of... would we call that punk rock? What would we call that, Doug? What would we call that one?
It's Descendants are like pop punk-ish. I think they were called a hardcore band back in the 80s, but it kind of developed more into like a pop punk, yeah.
Yeah, Fred Tutcher's favorite band, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
They're a good one. I like the Descendants quite a bit.
There you go. Speaking of Descendants, before we get into the Patriots, we just had breaking news about Jim Irsay, so I guess we'll start sad and then we'll build ourselves up. Jim Irsay was a fixture in the Patriots-Colts rivalry. Took over for his dad, obviously Bill Polian. They hired good people. They had multiple Hall of Famers, right? Edgerrin James, Dwight Freeney, Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning, right? Like Andrew Luck, maybe. Just a good owner. I know he was polarizing. He might have been, quirky at times, good sound bites. But for the most part, I think for the Colts, looking back on it, he was great for the community. And, I don't know how you judge a good owner, but I think being successful, winning, and having winning players, I think is very good for the organization. It was sad to see him pass at 65 today. Yeah,
100%. Condolences to his family, and thoughts and everything go to the Irsays and the Colts. And because, like you said, like the Colts were a fixture in the NFL. They were competitive year in, year out. Got a lot of good players in there, drafted really well. They were perennial Super Bowl contenders in the playoffs for years. And, I know a few Colts beat writers, and they all had nothing but good things to say about Jim Irsay. Obviously, he had some personal problems and everything like that, but he was a true character of the NFL based on everything that I heard about him. And, great in the community, very giving individual, Jim Irsay. So I know that he touched a lot of people. So very sad to hear of his passing.
I don't want to speculate. I know that when he was out for a bit, his kids did take over. Do you think that that's something in the works that can happen? Or, again, we can't speculate on what the family would do, but I don't know. I feel like the Colts would be a very valuable franchise.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I mean, I have no idea, honestly. I mean, I would imagine that they would like to keep it in the family if possible. I do believe that his daughter is pretty invested and pretty, involved with the Colts. So I certainly wouldn't be surprised if that was a push. I know that when the Patriots play the Colts, there's a huge contingent of the Irsay family on hand at every game. So I think that it's something that they truly do care about quite a bit. So, certainly wouldn't be surprised if they try to keep it in the family. But obviously, with the value of NFL franchises at this point, it's hard to pass up that kind of money too.
I know. That's very interesting situation for the Colts. All right, so you were at OTAs. Well, what'd you see? Just what stood out to you? What looked different? What players stood out? What are just some of Doug Kyed's takeaways from the first couple of days of OTAs?
Yeah, I mean, it looked a lot different, even just like from the beginning, stretching and some of the drills that they were doing. This is a new era because Gerard Mayo didn't know any better than to just do what Bill Belichick did during practices. And now Vrabel knows a lot better of what he wants out of the team. So definitely looked a little bit different out there. And I know everyone's main takeaway, and mine too, were Drake May's struggles. You don't want to make too big of a deal out of OTAs, and I'm not going to. But when the guy throws 4 interceptions in his first 9 passes, it's going to be the headline everywhere. So I think that was a small concern. But I do also think that Christian Gonzalez getting 2 of those interceptions was a pretty major positive as well, because he hasn't always performed the best in practice. So it was good to see him get out to a hot start this spring.
All right, so I did a little bit of digging. I wanted to at least try to set an expectation of what Patriots fans, in general, what people should be thinking about Drake May next year, Doug. And so what I did was I went to the quarterbacks that have been drafted since 2000 and how they did their second season compared to their first. So the high bar is Justin Herbert, who in his second year, the team went 9-8. He threw for 5,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, had one fumble. The year before that, he had 8 fumbles, 10 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got sacked 32 times.
For sure.
The other quarterback is Trevor Lawrence, who in his first year had 17 interceptions, 9 fumbles. They went 3-14, right? Next year, he threw for 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, and the team went 9-8. I went over Brock Purdy. I went over C.J. Stroud, who regressed. Bryce Young, who actually went forward, and went over the quarterbacks from last year. But I ask you, should we lower our expectations for Drake May in his second season?
I don't think so. I think it's fair to have high expectations, because I know that it doesn't happen to everyone. I mean, we saw Mac Jones looked very good in his rookie year, seriously regressed in year 2, and then was in and out of the lineup with Bailey Zappi. So we've seen quarterbacks regress, but given how well Drake May looked last year, and given all of his traits, he should take a step forward this year. I know it's difficult for him to be learning a new offense and to have a new offensive coordinator, and that might be some of these early struggles that we're seeing, is him trying to adapt. But I think it's entirely fair to expect him to take a leap forward this year and to have the Patriots at least playing decent football. 9-8 is not that high of a bar to set for the Patriots this season.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if, I know you're excited. You just said, hey, it's not a high bar. I still have a lot of questions. Like Josh McDaniels, I do question if he can work with Drake May. I question it. I wonder if their defense will be better. And this is probably something to ask you as you were there, but were they really rotating offensive linemen more often than not at practice with guys playing multiple positions?
It's tough to say, because 2/5 of their offensive line was limited. Michael Wenu and Morgan Moses were not participating in full team drills. So there was some mixing and matching, but it looked like, at least from the start, that it was going to be Will Campbell at left tackle, Garrett Bradbury at center, Owenu at right guard, Moses at right tackle. And Cole Strange was the first guy out there at left guard, but certainly wouldn't be surprised if Wes Schweitzer was involved there as well, or if someone else was going to be mixing in at left guard. But it does seem like they're pretty set on at least 4 of those spots right now.
Yeah, I think, again, I'm tempering expectations, Doug. I don't know what it is. I saw a team last year that I think could have been better, should have been better record-wise.
Yeah.
But had issues. We know.
Yeah.
You said it was different. Did you watch Forged in Foxborough at all?
I did watch Forged in Foxborough, yes. I had only heard about Forged in Foxborough, so I'm not going to lie, when I fired up YouTube, finally was like, all right, on Monday I'm going to watch this. I was shocked that it was an hour and 20 minutes. I was expecting it to be 15 or 20 minutes. But yes, I did watch the whole thing.
Yeah, so I liked it. I'm sure people will. It's Patriots porn, right? I'll say this: I'm sold on Will Campbell. What I mean by sold on Will Campbell, that was their guy, right? If they felt like they worked with their guys. I at first joked about the Will Campbell knocked Mike Vrabel on his ass kind of thing, okay, great, we're hyping this up. Well, when he got him on the phone, he goes, "That's the last time you're ever going to go do that one." And he goes, "I had to seal the deal, coach." That was organic. So I really liked it. But I'm more sold on Will Campbell. But I also would hate to be Will Campbell thinking about Max Crosby in Week 1.
Oh, for sure. No, I mean, that's a big challenge right there for him. And I think that for a rookie left tackle, you have to temper expectations. Those guys don't always come out of the gate looking the way that they will year 3 or 4. I would not be surprised if he has some up and down moments. And I think that there's a lot of pressure on him because of some of the questions about him coming into the year. But, last year I was always whenever someone would talk about, well, the defense is going to be top 5 or top 10, I was always like, do we know that, though? Because, they lost Bill Belichick, they lost Steve Belichick, and I'm feeling a little bit like the defense should be better this year, just based on the players that they brought in. But I still don't know if it's going to be like a upper echelon unit based on what they have. I think that there's still some holes on defense. There's certainly some holes on offense. I think that 9-8 is reasonable based on the schedule, but I don't know if this is going to be one of the most talented or one of the top half talented teams in the NFL. I think they've just got a pretty easy schedule right now.
All right, talking with Doug Kyed, he's of the Boston Herald. Christian Barmore spoke for the first time. Gave great news. Was he working out? Were they going slow with him? What's the latest with Christian Barmore?
He was out there. He was out there from the start. I saw him, participating in drills and everything like that. So it seems like it should be full go as much as possible right now. It's really good news because I think last year when he had the relapse of blood clots, usually that's a bad sign. Usually that means that this is not something that's going to get under control and that you might have to be on blood thinners for the rest of your life. So just the fact that he's out there right now is a really positive sign. Means that they believe that he can play football this year. So that's something that they should take. Obviously, still, you never know what's going to happen with that. He already had one relapse, but at this point, looks really positive and looks like he could be a starting defensive tackle next to Milton Williams this season.
I was going to ask you about that. What will that look like up front? Is that going to be a 4-3 look or a 3-4 look with an end? Is Milton Williams that end and is Barmore the other defensive tackle? Do they play a nose tackle there? I know Harold Landry would probably be on the outside and Keon White's going to be. Is that what that's going to look like? Because there is a new defense this year.
It's it's either a 4-3 under or over. I can't remember off the top of my head, but essentially, there's going to be a one tech who I think if it's Barmore and Williams, then Barmore would be the one technique, kind of near the middle of the defense, shaded over. Milton Williams would be the 3 technique, kind of in that Jeffrey Simmons role, and then they have a strong side defensive end. It's kind of like a 5 tech / 7 tech, which I picture being Keon White, just because he's 280, 290, seems like a really good fit for that role. And then they have kind of like an overhanging weak side end / stand-up guy on the other side, who in the starting defense I would assume would be Harold Landry. So that's the way that I'm kind of picturing that defensive front. And obviously they'll mix and match a defensive tackle and everything. And then at linebacker, my guess is that it's going to be either Christian Ellis or Jelani Tavai in one spot and then Robert Spillane in the other spot, and they'll go 5 defensive backs. But that's my guess for what the starting defense is going to look like.
Are they light at linebacker?
Not really. I mean, I'm actually a little bit shocked at how much they obviously believe in Christian Ellis based on the contract that they signed with him. Certainly seems like they think that he can be a starter. Jelani Tavai was getting a lot of snaps, so it seems like he could potentially be a starter. Spillane, I think, is going to be that guy who's getting 100% of snaps. And then, Jack Gibbons isn't bad. He was a starter at times in Tennessee, so he's not really bad depth. It seems like they've got 2 decent levels of depth behind whoever the 2 starters are. So not high-end guys, but I'm pretty confident in the depth that they have there.
You sound really confident based off what you've seen through 2 practices. For real.
I mean,
you said you have high expectations.
I mean, relatively. I think that there's not a lot of high-end talent on defense. That's the thing that would scare me a little bit. Christian Gonzalez obviously is high-end talent. Milton Williams should be high-end talent based on the contract that they gave him. And Christian Barmore, if he returns back to form from 2023, should be high-end talent. Beyond that, I think it's a lot of average to above average players, which does concern me a little bit on defense. And I'm also a little bit concerned about the defensive coordinator situation because obviously we're all hoping that Terrell Williams gets back and healthy and everything like that, but we haven't seen that yet. And right now the inside linebackers coach is serving as the defensive coordinator. So really, I don't know what the timetable is for Terrell Williams, but obviously that's something to factor in as well. Just the fact that their defensive coordinator currently is not there.
Interesting. Yeah, I know he had a health thing. I know he had at least spoke to the media after it.
Yep.
So assuming he should be back when real camp gets up and going.
We don't know. I mean, he was still in Detroit when we spoke to him. We spoke to him via Zoom, and he didn't give a timetable. He wouldn't even disclose what the medical condition was.
Yeah.
And Vrabel wouldn't give a timetable or disclose either. So it's really tough to tell exactly what that situation is right now.
I got two more. They're on Vrabel and McDaniels. One, would Vrabel call the plays, or do you think? I'm not sure who the inside linebackers coach is this year, but would you think Vrabel would be calling those plays, or would he have someone else do it? And just a follow up, did you notice anything different about Josh McDaniels in his offense?
As far as who would call plays, if Terrell Williams can't be out there, which we're all hoping that he can, I would probably expect it to be an assistant. Like Zach Kerr is the inside linebackers coach, so my guess it would be him. Vrabel really is kind of that CEO type head coach, it seems like, who bounces around quite a bit. And just as far as the offense goes, it looked pretty similar to me so far. Obviously, there's going to be different wrinkles thrown in because of Drake May's athleticism, and probably see some more RPOs, probably see some more play action. But one thing that stood out to me right away is that Efton Chisholm, who's this undersized, undrafted free agent out of Eastern Washington, cut from the mold of Danny Amendola, Wes Welker, was when he was out there, almost seemed like he was a featured part of the offense. So that kind of made me laugh that all right, some things just never change. And that Josh McDaniels is still kind of looking for those type of guys who thrived in his offense. But I'm sure we will see different things just based on even how Josh McDaniels ran the offense with Cam Newton. But the core tenets, I think, are still going to be what Josh McDaniels has succeeded with.
Well, hey, listen, I like that because they need all the help at wide receiver they can get. So if they got to find a slot and groom them, I'm in. Please, just to know that I saw your notes, but you put that Jalen Polk didn't really participate. He was there, but man. I'm just curious what kind of leash that guy's going to get this year.
So he did have the shoulder injury to finish last season. I think he had a procedure on that. So, it makes sense why he was limited. One interesting note on him, at one point they did divide the wide receivers up into outside guys and inside guys. And Polk was with the inside guys. And I actually do think that a move to the slot for him could be a really good thing. I think that he could take on a Jacoby Myers type role. So that was interesting to me. I'm not sure if it was slot and Z or what exactly they were doing there, but he was with the inside guys, and I think that would be good.
It's funny, the night of the draft, I was with Alex Barth, and I was like, dude, he's an inside guy. I know he's big, but he's an inside guy. And we looked up the numbers, and it was almost identical to inside, outside, and he was playing with McMillan and Roma Dunze as well. But maybe that is where he needs to be, and I don't know, isn't that someone who thrives in a Josh McDaniels offense? But now that I think about that, Pop Douglas, the kid they drafted, Williams, right? And now Polk. There's a big battle for slot there. Could they go double slot, 4 wide?
Well, they've also got some tight ends to throw in there, too. Williams, I think, can play outside, though. So Kyle Williams, I think, will be more outside. But, Demario Douglas can really only play the slot. But one thing, they like blockers in the slot. And that's one thing with Demario Douglas where, I think he's one of their best wide receivers. But that's one aspect that I think it might need to be proven in the Josh McDaniels offense, is that he can handle that load as a blocker in the slot.
Very interesting. Well, you sound very excited.
I am. I'm excited to be at football practice again, honestly.
I know. We were just talking, well, Joe, they might run the 4-3 under, and then there's this guy here. I miss that. I really do. I really miss that. Hey, by the way, how was the brewery event? I heard I had people texting me asking me, where am I? Why am I not there? And I said, listen, I'm working, but I heard it was a blast, dude.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really great. There was a great turnout, raised a ton of money. In general, the fundraiser that we're doing has been really exciting. It's been really fun. We're raising a ton of money. So just a quick plug, princesshalleyforever.com. That's where you can get donations in still. It goes until June 5th. We're doing great, and we're raising a ton of money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Yep, PrincessHalleyForever.com. Always welcome to plug it here on this show, Doug.
Awesome.
Seriously though, man, like the turnout, the people that showed up, man, that's huge, dude, and that's a good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And hey, man, you never know, you might just get a player walk through that door every once in a while. You know what I mean?
I know. We got Pop Douglas. We got David Andrews. We got Be a Man. It was awesome. It was a great turnout.
Oh, the Be a Man guy was on. He was on me. He was like, that Doug Kyed's one of the best, man. And he loved it. Getting him out of the North Shore to go the other direction, I think.
I know, right?
He was very happy. But no, I'm glad, man. I'm happy for you. And of course, people can continue to donate. PrincessHalleyForever.com. Doug, appreciate your work. Appreciate all the grind that you do, my man. And I'm sure we'll be talking all football season long.
For sure. Good to talk to you, Joe.
You
Thanks for having me on.
Okay, you too, man. He's Doug Kyed of the Boston Herald. Check out all his work. Did you feel that? He was like, man, it might be Keon Williams on the outside, but you could get the inside tackle. One could be Barmore, and then Milton could really be that other guy. And then, if you think about it, it's Harold Landry on the outside, and then, Robert Spillane could be helping out of I could feel it. Is that Buzz? Is that Buzz?
Doug was buzzing a little bit. He had me feeling optimistic, Joe.
And you know what's funny? I was, that Jack Nicholson gif where he's like, yeah. That was me.
You were eating it up.
I was like, yeah.
Feed me.
Yeah, yes. Tell me who the left strong side defensive end will be today. Yes. Okay. Dude, we've done basketball talk for like month and like Bruin stuff. Like I needed that for a minute. Thank you. All right, we got to go to break. Hey, we'll hit the headline first, and then we got in or out at the end of the hour. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by South.
So feel free to ever send. You know who sends me stuff all the time? Shout out to Chuck Olson in our chat. Sends me stuff all the time. Dedication, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Hey, we got Justin and Lynn. Justin.
Hey, Joe.
Hey.
I was really upset about the umpire last night when he threw out Bueller. I just wanted your thoughts. I thought it was a little bit of an overreaction on his part.
I want the robot umps.
I do too, because I think the pitch was right down the middle, and he clearly missed it. I think it was an overreaction to just throw him out. Let the guy have his say.
Hey, Justin. If you were the ump of the game, I bet you he wouldn't have said anything mean to you.
No, Joe. I'm getting into the business too, so
Yeah, you're trying to be objective. You're not trying to be the homer. You didn't like it. Yeah.
I didn't like it, Joe, and I think the emotion of the game too, Joe, is the emotion of the game. The umpires have to understand. Players get emotional, Joe.
Justin, we watch the games for the players, not for the umpires.
Right, and I think sometimes, Joe, you look at that, and it's just they overreact sometimes, and that really bugs me.
You're damn right,
Joe.
Yeah, it should bug you. We should call it Buggin' with Justin.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, buddy. Yeah, have your own segment called Buggin'. We do our own segment. It's called In or Out. We're going to do that next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's it going to be, McFly? Are you in or out?
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
original without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
Say a WrestleMania with Travis Scott and without Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson feels like a mistake, from an outsider's perspective. But I think this movie, a manipulative motivational guru, that feels like a role kind of for The Rock. He can play like some fitness guru or crypto guru where he's, manipulating people, psychological thriller. I think of all The Rock's terrible movies, this one seems like it has some potential.
Did you ever see Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart?
Yeah, I think I've seen enough of it.
Played kind of a weird role in that one.
Yeah.
But he ended up being a cop.
The Rock, I like him in The Other Guys. That's a great.
I like that one.
That's a great where he's in that for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I like that one. But overall, I think you have turned me against The Rock. Maybe he's not a great actor after all.
He's a okay actor. I just think John Cena and Batista are much better for wrestlers.
Okay. Batista's coming along now, huh?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. But speaking of wrestlers, Joe, Jason Momoa and Roman Reigns are in talks to star in the live-action Street Fighter movie. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Roman Reigns in a Street Fighter movie?
In. Listen, I don't know how to tell you this, but the looks alone, Roman Reigns got it all. He's built. No, listen, I know. Yeah, I know. All right, deal with it. He's a handsome man, and I'm going to tell you how damn handsome he is.
Is he handsome standing next to Jason Momoa, though?
See, that's a tough one.
That's a tough place to be handsome.
But who can you afford?
He's attainable, maybe.
And he wants to be in a movie. I think so. For those who don't know, Roman Reigns is Joe Anoa'i. He's part of the Anoa'i family. That's a Samoan descent. He played football at Georgia Tech and has been one of the top world champions in wrestling. But he also suffers from leukemia, and he's beat it twice. He's in absolutely incredible shape. I think he'd be a great actor for that type of movie, Street Fighter. Plus, he has a build and can, fight. So, in on The Rock in Street Fighter. I wonder who he'd be.
I guess we'll have to find out. But we'll stick with Jason Momoa.
By the way, in on a Street Fighter movie.
Yes, in on that as well. Why not? Bring us all the movies. But sticking with Jason Momoa, Joe. Jason Momoa and Tamora Morrison, who I believe is Boba Fett in the Star Wars movies, will star in Chief of War, an Apple Plus TV series that follows the Hawaiian unification story. This series hits Apple Plus on August 1st. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Chief of War, the Hawaiian unification series?
How many Hawaiian shows are like... those Hawaii 5-0. I guess Moana's that's a movie.
I just dropped part of the trailer in Slack. It feels like this is like going to be. I don't want to call it like a historical piece, but like there's cannons and stuff like that. So this seems kind of like a interesting historical, maybe historical.
Yeah, like could it be about Captain Cook and all that? Maybe I'll have to look into it. So the sneak preview that I've seen though. It kind of looks like a Predator type movie.
I was getting those vibes too, so I wasn't sure exactly.
Trying to think of like another. Listen, they're. If you want to learn about the history, I'm sure it's.
It was almost giving me like Apocalypto vibes a little bit like that, but obviously that's
again
fiction.
Quick thing that I've looked at it looks good. I'll tell you that. What am I going with? I had a take and now I'm completely lost. But the people of Hawaii are indigenous people because of this issue, and of course, if you watch, there's a lot of details in there.
All right, Joe, this one from intern Luke. The Miami Marlins are doing SpongeBob SquarePants Day. You get an exclusive Marlins SpongeBob jersey with your ticket package. Joe Murray, are you in or out on SpongeBob Day?
Yeah, sure. SpongeBob deserves a day.
SpongeBob or some SpongeBob, some serious staying power. It's been around forever.
I never watched. I had friends' dads growing up like, hey, you watch SpongeBob? I'm like, no. as I got older, and it's something that you can always put on and just kind of watch. Like, I did enjoy the movie. I do get the plot every day that there's this guy trying to plot to get, to steal something or someone's thing, and
Plankton.
Yeah, Plankton.
He wants the secret formula.
Yeah, there you go. Every day is always about that.
It's his life's goal.
And Bob's friends, and then his fat guy's friend, and then
Now Patrick.
Patrick, I like him too. Yeah, see, it's there should be, yes. Listen, I don't know much about SpongeBob. I just gave you a rundown though. But if I had to be a SpongeBob character, I'd be Patrick.
You live under a rock, Joe? Looks kind of comfy in there.
Maybe I have to think about that now.
There is a lobster in SpongeBob.
I know.
Larry the Lobster, I believe.
Larry. Who would you be?
I feel like there's not enough characters. I'd like to be Gary, his pet snail. You just kind of do nothing all day. It's not a bad life there.
I like doing that too.
Just hanging out.
Maybe I'll keep watching.
All right, Joe, we talked NFL rule changes earlier. Not a rule change, but a new award in the NFL. NFL executive, Patriots fans' favorite, Troy Vincent, announced earlier today that a new end-of-the-year award, Protector of the Year, to recognize the best offensive lineman each year.
In.
Joe Murray, are you in or out on the Protector of the Year award?
Every year there should be a lineman that gets award for being the best, whether it's pancakes, sacks, you name it. So who would I call the Protector of the Year in the NFL? Penei Sewell was great.
That was my first thought.
Trent Williams probably had some years.
I mean, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Somebody every year probably deserved it from that bunch. So now it's up.
Notch on the resume.
We're so big on giving guys awards for All-Pro.
First team All-NBA, first team All-Pro.
Like, you're first team All-Pro, and you were the award winner for best lineman.
Yeah, lineman's never going to win MVP or Offensive Player of the Year. So I'm in.
Boom. In.
All right, Joe, sticking with the NFL, we have our Hard Knocks team, Joe. The Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Joe Murray, are you in or out on the Buffalo Bills on Hard Knocks?
In. You know what? I almost wonder. See, dude, here's the deal. Unbiased take. I think the Bills got hosed a couple of times. But, you know how we talked about the Celtics, like the margins and all that stuff? The Bills relied on those margins too much. But you know what another thing is, too? I do feel as though there's maybe more support for the Buffalo Bills. Kind of like how the Lions get support because they've been so bad. That I think if people watch Buffalo and maybe know a little bit more about the history and the pain and the pain points of it all and how good they are with an MVP.
I also think Josh Allen is one of the more likable guys in the NFL, and the more you learn about him, what he does for that city on a daily, weekly, yearly basis, he seems to be a real philanthropist around Buffalo. So I hope to get some, insight into that. I think Josh Allen deserves that, but I want Bills Mafia to be featured in this Hard Knocks. I want be in the parking lot, preseason
wings,
games,
crashing tables,
the ketchup guy. I want all of that. And Sean McDermott, I think, is a guy who mixed reviews. I think at times around the NFL, he's had some questionable speeches. I think to his team at times. I wonder if we get any of that at Hard Knocks. So yeah, I think Bills Mafia, Sean McDermott, and Josh Allen. I would be in on the Buffalo Bills Hard Knocks.
Outside of of the quarterback, Josh Allen, who's the biggest name on their team?
Maybe after last year, Cook. He had a really good season. They used to have Poyer and Hyde, who were kind of names. But
I'd say Joey Bosa.
Oh, because he's there now, right?
Yeah. But I mean, as far as me, I'll tell you Khalil Shakir. Because I have his gold.
Good player.
1/1 card.
Keon Coleman feels like a guy who will give you some sound bites.
Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. But is there star power? No. I think that might make them likable. That's it. They're interesting. I'm in. You know what? I'm in. Plus, it's in the divisions, guys.
Yeah, maybe we get some Patriots stuff, you know?
Exactly, yeah. Maybe they talk about not letting the Patriots win in the final game of the year. Oh, whoa, give me that. In.
Well, Joe, the Buffalo Bills are the team being featured in the off-season Hard Knocks leading into the season. The second edition of Hard Knocks, which is in season, will be the entire NFC East. Yes, the entire NFC East will be the in-season featured Hard Knocks. Joe Murray, are you in or out on the NFC East doing the in-season Hard Knocks?
What was the team again?
The NFC East.
Oh, just the East.
Yes, I believe they're doing the whole division.
Eagles.
Commanders, Cowboys, Giants.
In.
Drama. Hatred.
The Giants are going to be back on this thing. Horrible.
Maybe we get some Jerry.
You know what?
Jerry upset at the Eagles for the tush push in the regular season.
That'd be good. I need Giants is what I need. Jackson Dart.
You want dysfunction.
I want Mr. Unlimited with Mr. Winston with Jackson. I just need... And then Tommy Cutlets in the back.
What a QB room.
You got one guy who loves crab legs, the other guy with cutlets. Russell Wilson's got the famous wife.
Unlimited.
You know? And then there's just, well, Jackson Dart. I liked him though. I did like him at Ole Miss.
Jackson Dart takes me as he's got a high ceiling, but the floor is also it's there. He's got a lot of boomer bust potential.
What bothers me about that team is I feel like that system and the coach can just plug anybody in there. Like next year, they're just going to throw someone else at quarterback, Lane Kiffin.
It worked so well for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I know. What else? Yeah.
All right, Joe, we'll end with this one tonight. Something that's kind of become a Joe Murray fixture is movie popcorn buckets. Joe, you've been on this for over a year now, it feels like. Well, we have the newest one, Joe. The F1 movie is coming out.
I want to see this.
And for the F1 popcorn bucket, it is a helmet. An F1 helmet you fill with popcorn. Joe Murray, are you in or out on the F1 popcorn movie bucket?
In. This guy's got... So, okay, it's an actual helmet with a visor. So, and it's obviously got a bottom. But the part that you flip open is the top. So the visor stays on, all that. I love this. Now, my hand's a little too big for that opening, though. And, Skaz, I like to lick my popcorn.
So
like
you're a sniffer, a dipper, and a licker?
Yeah, you know all that. But when so what I do is I will put my hand in the popcorn and, like Cookie Monster, all over me. But I also like to just take it up to my mouth like this and just, like, frog it.
Are you a popcorn mixer, Joe? Do you put anything in the popcorn?
Yes. Now, just so you know, I will share a popcorn. Like if it's a big boy.
Will you share a licked popcorn?
That's the problem, is that I like to lick my popcorn. So I get my own. But, guys, I think I have a Darth Vader helmet. And what was the other helmet that we saw? The Jaws.
Jaws was a good one.
I would just like to use and just have me streaming or me on a video.
In.
And you could watch me mix my M&Ms with my popcorn. You could watch me lick my souvenir helmet and watch me eat popcorn. And then watch my reactions to movies. And it's going to probably be me being like, yes. Or I'm just going to be...
Well, you mentioned this F1 movie. It looks pretty good. Brad Pitt.
I loved I told you. Saw Fast and Furious at the Dedham movie theater when I was a kid, and we were racing down Route 1. We got down to Route 1, and it was like, are we going to go Washington Street? Are we going to go? Which one are we going to do? It was a wild ride home. Days of Thunder. Oh, yeah. Give it to me.
Yeah, I mean, Damson Idris is a great actor. Javier Bardem's in this.
Good stuff.
Great actors.
Ford vs. Ferrari, I loved.
Very good
I thought
movie.
that was really, really good. Yeah, if you listen, and I don't know what it is, but I'm in on anything to do in a car. In.
I haven't been to the movies in a long time. It's been a while, but this weekend I'm thinking about it, Joe. The Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd movie.
Oh, there you go.
Might have to, that one feels like a must.
Does Paul Rudd age?
Very, very slowly, I think. Still looks great. Now, Brad Pitt still looking good in this F1 trailer I'm looking at.
Paul Rudd still looks like he did in Clueless.
Or on Friends.
Yeah. What other helmets could we bring? I think I
believe there was an Indiana Jones one, I think.
Like, with the Patriots want to send me a helmet, I will eat popcorn out of it. But the thing is, I want it to be a helmet I want it to be made for popcorn, not just here's a helmet, Joe, go put popcorn in it. I want it to be a souvenir. All right, we got to go to break. Is that it?
Neil checking in.
Oh, Neil.
Neil saying, a Joe Murray watch-along YouTube is a winner. The Murray Science Theater 3000. Like Mystery Science Theater 3000. I like the Murray Science Theater 3000. In.
I love that.
Go to the movies with Joe.
Yeah, out with Joe.
Out with Joe.
And, Joe does the movie. Joey's movies? Murray's movies?
Murray at the movies.
I did think about that Marvel one. Remember when they played all the Marvels in a row?
Yeah, I think the Pasta Joe was there.
Oh, was it Pasta Joe?
I think so.
I haven't seen him in a while. He works at a dispensary, so he naturally smells like marijuana.
That feels right, you know?
He has a huge Wheaties jacket. Like a big orange one.
I've heard the lore of the Wheaties jacket.
And he just it's like when you walk by him, it's like instant contact. Hi. Okay, sorry. We got to go to break. Hey, let's go to break, and then we're back on 98.5 The Sports.
From the Top Tier Tire Studios, WBZ FM and HD1.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Beasley Media Group Station.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, halftime. New York has a 69-62 lead over the Pacers. Mets have a 4-1 lead right now over the Mets. It was Liam Hendricks, of course, who gave up 3 runs, right? Right on cue. Sad news out of the NFL. Jim Irsay, Colts owner, has passed away at the age of 65. And 2 rule changes passed. One was the onside kick rule at any time when you're trailing. The tush push, though, going nowhere. Going nowhere. Headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss, the new Golden program. It's medication-free, fast weight loss solution for those over 60. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray.
Here we go.
Boom. I win. Kaboom.
Yeah. It's so funny.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports.
Baseball, there's football, there's all that. And you know who we're going to talk to coming up? Eli Hershkovich. He's from thelines.com. We've had him on in the past, and he's going to join us coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Visit the 99 restaurant Monday through Wednesday for their new big deal meal, the crispy fried twin catch.
11 o'clock. Did want to bring in a guest of ours. His name is Eli Hershkovich. Does a lot of writing. I know thelines.com and other stuff for Katina Media. How you doing tonight, Eli? How you doing, buddy?
Good to talk to you, man. Been a long time. Congrats on the new show. I know it's been a while hosting for you on the night shift, but always appreciate talking sports betting and just sports with you in general, man.
You got it. Well, listen, what was it? 8 in the morning is a lot different than 9 at night, huh? It's just two different.
A little bit.
Two different worlds, but I know you got a lot of stuff. You're writing a bunch of content out there. I had a leadoff take today. It's just sports, and maybe we can relate it to gambling, but the Patriots win totals 8.5. I know it opened at 7.5, it's 8.5, juiced up at some places, but I feel like there might be some unfair expectations for Drake May. I did a deep dive on how some quarterbacks do in their second year. There's been big bumps. Justin Herbert had a huge bump in his second year. Even Trevor Lawrence had a big bump. I think people are expecting that. I would temper the expectation. I'm under on 8.5, but I'm not sure what you thought of Drake May from afar, and do you think there's a lot of hype on the Patriots this year?
Well, I don't have a lot of confidence maybe in Josh McDaniels to get the most out of Drake May. I'm sure a lot of Patriots fans feel the same way, but I understand why the win total is what it is at 8.5 plus money to the over. You go back to last year, New England was the only team to be an underdog in all 17 regular season games dating back to last season. You have an upgrade at head coach from Gerard Mayo to Mike Vrabel. A lot of success with the Titans, not only getting them to the playoffs, but also as an underdog. But then you look at the Patriots' home schedule, they're favored in all but one of their games. So I get your stance on May, whether he does or doesn't take a step up. Maybe you're on the net negative side with him as a quarterback prospect going back to the draft or whatnot. But just per the betting market, you go back to the Chargers last year. It's very similar because, you had a more experienced Justin Herbert, but an experienced coach going back to college and from his days in San Francisco, then back to the NFL in Jim Harbaugh. And like I mentioned with Vrabel, a lot of success in the NFL. And then you look at the schedule, especially at home, even if you maybe are inclined to believe May doesn't take that next step, it's hard to argue the win total itself.
Agree. I think there's a lot of hype, but the schedule is soft too. But I don't know, man. I just everybody around here is, Mike Vrabel's here, and like you said, I still have questions about Josh McDaniels, and I just feel like the second year expectations are big for Drake May. But hey, even odds makers feel the same way. Eli, we're watching the Red Sox game right now. Garrett Crochet was on the mound tonight, and the bullpen just blew the lead. Cora missed a game for his daughter's graduation, and then last night got tossed. So I'm like, hey, this Ramon Vasquez guy is 2-0 right now. Who's this Cora guy? I'm out on the Red Sox to begin with, but I wanted to just get into some MVP stuff. I was curious if Bregman or even Devers, for that matter, he's on a tear right now. Where do those guys line up when it comes to MVP? And I guess at this point, Aaron Judge, is he always the favorite at this point?
Massive favorite, not just the consensus favorite, but you look at the odds historically going back over the last 5 seasons. So Judge opened the year at plus 300. Sportsbooks obviously took bets on him to win his second straight MVP, but over at BetMGM, 4 players right now have tallied a higher amount of bets, overall bets, not money, but bets, than Judge, which is pretty wild just considering his historical success, not just statistically, but winning back-to-back MVPs and 2 so far in his career. So he entered May at minus 600 over the last 5 years, at least the last 5 seasons. No player has been that short of a price to win MVP. And now he's minus 2,500 to win it, which is an implied probability of just about 96%. So you asked about Devers and Bregman. Bregman is 60-1. Devers right around 125-1. A lot of long shot odds between the two of those guys. But if you believe in Boston and if you believe maybe Judge gets hurt and you look over the last 5 or so seasons, he's had an injury history of missing around a month in each of those seasons, or again, over that span of time, it's been pretty consistent where he's been banged up. I'm inclined to believe Boston does turn this thing around. I know I'm probably on the opposite side of you, not only on Drake May, but also the Red Sox. I'm a big Garrett Crochet guy going back to my White Sox fandom, but I like Boston overall to at least make a push in the wild card race. And New York overall, if you look at the AL East standings, yes, they're the only team above 500, but I'm not necessarily a big believer in that rotation either, especially without Garrett Cole. So long story short, I can't advocate to even throw a pocket change on Bregman or Devers just because of how superior statistically Judge has been this season. And unless he gets hurt, it's hard to imagine him tailing off. But if you like Boston to make a run, which, again, I think they will at some point this season, at least when it comes to the wild card or even the division, you have to expect one of those guys and their odds to improve, even if it doesn't mean that Judge loses this thing or even comes close to giving it away.
All right, talking with Eli Hershkovich. You can check out his work, thelines.com. I see lineup.com here is where you have this nice write-up on the historic odds for Aaron Judge. As we're speaking right now, the Red Sox just gave up a home run to Francisco Lindor. It was on a changeup, of course. But Lindor lapped around the field. I don't know if he was taunting people, but he also had breakfast with Alex Cora this morning. And I don't know if you saw this last night, but Walker Buehler got tossed. And while Lindor was on second base, was trying to eject him, and the umpire ended up doing so. So Francisco Lindor not making any friends in Boston today as Juan Soto now takes the plate.
Well, at the same time, you have to understand it from Lindor's standpoint with the Mets losing back-to-back games. And, I mean, overall, New York is still one of the better teams in the NL and one of the favorites to come out of the NL, too.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, man, you saw the Celtics run. I'm disappointed because I thought they were special. I thought the Celtics really were one of the better teams, and back-to-back, I thought it was a gimme. I really did. So I'll take the L on it. I thought we'd still be having games. Here I am watching the New York Knicks and Pacers, and I'm just like, the Celtics are better. Because that's me being petty. What'd you think of their fallout, and just what did you think about the upset? Like, as far as betting terms go, minus 900, minus 800, and losing in 6, that had to be a huge like loss when it came to betting odds.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you go back to their upset, they were one of two teams over the last 40 years in terms of the Knicks I'm talking about, not the Celtics. Boston was minus 800 going into the series to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. So New York pulled off one of the biggest upsets over the last 40 seasons, becoming one of two teams to knock off a favorite of minus 800 or higher in an NBA playoff series, not in the semifinals, not in over the first two rounds, but overall in NBA playoff history, or at least going back to the last 40 years. So historically, Celtics fans have a lot to be upset about, just considering the upset, despite the fact that you have Jason Tatum going down and whatnot. But I'm a believer. I'm kind of in line with you that both of these teams are overrated in the Eastern Conference Finals. And maybe Celtics fans have a bone to pick with the Knicks at this point, just after that historic upset. But I would prefer, as someone coming outside of Boston, I would prefer to see Indiana lose and down in the third quarter to the Knicks. You go back to their first two rounds in the playoffs, and even to begin this game tonight, they were at a historic pace over the first two rounds of the playoffs when it comes to offensive efficiency. Non-garbage time minutes, second in offensive efficiency in the NBA playoffs, entering the conference finals, the highest effective field goal percentage through the first two rounds in NBA playoff history. So, yeah, the Knicks got a little fortunate to get to this point just because of the Tatum injury, but at the same time, the Pacers have had an ungodly amount of offensive success that you would expect to take a step back. So I get it if you're a Celtics fan and want to root against the Knicks, but I'm personally ready for this Pacers story to be over and done with.
Oh, wow. All right. You're a huge college basketball guy. For those that love college hoops, Eli is one of the best. Now I'm throwing one at you again because I know you know your stuff, but the Celtics have essentially 2 picks. I think it's 28 and 32 of the draft. Not many people are looking at the draft over here, but because of the salary cap and tax implications for the Celtics, they might need players to fill out their roster. I think they hit on Baylor Shireman a year ago. Any bigs that you could think of in the draft that could be available that maybe the Celtics could target? I know there's the kid from Creighton, the big guy from there, but like
Ryan Kalkbrenner.
There you go. They need a big. Their front court is bad. They need more bigs. I can't. I don't want another wing, not another guard. I want bigs. Can you give us some names?
Well, I'll give you one because I've seen him. I've seen the Celtics link to him in some mock drafts. Danny Wolf from Michigan, but he's more of a stretch 5 and more of a shooting 4 than anything else. So I'm kind of surprised just your sentiment about what the Celtics' needs are, and you watch that conference semifinals. I get it, even though some of their backup bigs had some success throughout that series. But you look at the rest of the way some mock drafts I've seen can shake out. I mean, even if you want to go a little bit higher, you have a couple names like honestly, I don't even know who else. I mean, Connor Murray Boyles is going to be taken in the mid portion of this first round, if not the lottery. I can't say, Joe, that I'm super optimistic about the Celtics having, unless you get Kalkbrenner and maybe you overdraft a guy like him. I personally wouldn't be a big fan of the Wolf fit for the Celtics just based on need. Maybe you take talent over need, but I hate to say it, man, I don't think there are too many great bigs to take in this draft.
I know. It's listen, things are tough here. Everyone's upset that they lost. But now this new owner is coming in and the tax is going to be close to $500 million. And they're going to have to move. They're not going to pay it back-to-back years, man. They've done it. They did it this year to go for a repeat. So that's why this loss is so bad, but they need to move on from multiple contracts. I'm talking Porzingis, Holiday. If not, it's Jaylen Brown, and I don't think they want to break up Tatum and Brown without Tatum playing potentially all next season. So, you want to talk about some interesting articles to write about? The Celtics, the Celtics are they're like one of the teams that are facing the NBA tax issue, right? Somehow the Warriors would take a step back and then go forward, right? I don't know what the Celtics are going to do, especially with their new owner, man. It is fascinating. There's going to be a lot of fascinating stuff here in the Boston area with the Red Sox, Patriots, and Drake May, and no clue what to do with and I won't even get into the Bruins. I'll save that for another day, Eli.
I don't blame you, but you want to know what's even crazier when you look at NBA Finals odds for next year, just based on what you're saying there. The Celtics, I'm not saying they're a favorite, but they're around 20-1, a number like that, to win it all next year without Tatum. It's pretty astounding.
Wow. 20-1, huh?
It's crazy.
Do you think they could compete for a championship with just Jaylen Brown and Derek White as their front-running stars?
Who's going to teach Jaylen Brown how to dribble with his left hand? That's my biggest question if I'm betting on Boston to win it all next year without Jason Tatum.
Ooh. Again, it's good to have people that aren't here locally that can be critical of the team. Because what do you have, 8 turnovers in the Game 6? I don't even want to. That Game 6 was nothing, but you're right. In big opportunities in big games, he turns the ball over, and he fouls out.
Absolutely.
This one, it still hurts if you can't hear it in my voice here. Eli, great talking to you, man. Appreciate having you on. Pump up your stuff. How can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Eli Hershkovich on X. Check me out at thelines.com. And as you mentioned, lineups, always appreciate you having me on, man. Have a good rest of the show.
You got it. We'll do it again sometime. Maybe around the draft we'll have you on. You can help us out with some of these guys.
I'll give you a few more names to
all right.
get a little excited about it.
I threw that at you. Now you know. Now you're like, I got to brush up on my Celtics now, So I threw that one at you. But excellent job, Eli, and we'll catch up with you soon, bud.
Danny Wolf, that's all I got to say. Danny Wolf.
Appreciate you, Eli. Thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
You got it, man. All right, it's Eli Hershkovich, everybody. Check him out. Seriously, Skaz, that dude is one of the best college basketball, not on television talking head people that I know. And we used to have him on every weekend on the betting show, and he amazing. He's great. He's great at statistics and betting. And
Yeah, just on the Aaron Judge thing, what he's doing is insane. I know we're not going to talk about it.
Why aren't we? Like,
honestly, I do think what he's doing right now is insane.
Is it what do you think the reason that I'm aware of what he's been doing, but I'm not locked in. Do you know what I mean? And you're saying how what he's doing is amazing. How come we're not seeing it every night on ESPN? How come it's not in my face? This is what I'm trying to tell you. Is when I was a kid, my second favorite team was the Yankees because every day I wanted to know what the Yankees did. Not because they were my favorite, because they were the next team that I followed. How come we don't see what Aaron Judge is doing on a nightly basis? You actually have to look into it and find it for yourself. But what are the numbers? Like he's got stupid numbers.
He's
right?
batting .403. He has 16 home runs. He has 43 RBIs. You know, he's dominating. He's doing he's on pace to crush records, basically.
So through 50 games, he's batting .500, and nobody's covering that as a story.
.403, but yeah.
Yeah, but Ted Williams, .406, Ted Williams, .406, blah, blah, blah. How many times we still hear about .406? That's the damn .406 club.
His OPS is a little over 1,200, which I would say is very good.
No, for real. Why is the Aaron Judge stuff buried? Why?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we got Ohtani. They were cutting into live broadcasts for Ohtani. I mean, he's leading the league in batting average, leading the league in OPS, tied for first in RBIs. He's third in home runs. I know we're in Boston, and, the Red Sox haven't been great, so, baseball talk isn't exactly, top of the priority list right now, but Aaron Judge is putting on a potentially historic season.
I know what it is. They're all going crazy about the New York Knicks.
That's what it is. Bingo. It's Knicks season. New York, basketball town.
Call me in October. Right? For real. Call me in October. That's all that matters for the New York Yankees. Mets. Juan Soto. You got something on that you want to share?
The Juan Soto thing is very interesting.
Let's do it on the other side. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox trail 5-1 right now. Like we've lived, and then you know what he does? Yankee Stadium. You talked about 6 pitches. Manny took 1, 2, 3 down the middle of the plate, and I think it was a pinch hitting situation. They didn't know if he wanted to pinch hit or not. So when he went up there, didn't even put the guys. Those were you want to talk about sports radio heart?
Yeah, doing 4 hours on pitching changes. I'm glad that was before my time.
I'm telling you right now, Glenn Ordway, huge influence. Great, whenever I've met him twice, I don't think he knows me, but like that guy it'd be him and whoever, and it would just be the heart of the heart.
Glenn and Friends was the show.
Yes, Glenn and Friends, and dude, I'm telling you, it was just constantly Manny, coach, and it was just guys. You could just show up. Those guys were great. Don't think I'm saying this disrespectfully, but you could just call her on, and it was Manny because he made the biggest contract ever and was the great. I started the show saying you have to cater to your best players, right? We all agree? Do we all agree that you have to cater to these guys?
Yes.
So bow down, kiss the ring, bend the knee. Like you paid them, now you got to make it right.
You got to make them happy.
And you know what? Who did you credit the other night? Who'd you credit? What owner went and saw Devers? Who'd you?
That was John Henry. I gave him credit. Got on the plane, went to see his star player. Rafi's been very good since.
Yeah.
Now Steve Collins got to figure out how to get Juan Soto to start Soto shuffling again. Get him swinging at pitches. It seems like not too much to ask of your $120 million man, but I don't know. I didn't think Juan Soto would be a guy who would mail it in either, and it's obviously way too early to say that, but. Yeah, you can't be the face of the franchise, largest contract in the history of the sport, and not take any responsibility in the postgame. You got to take a little.
Guys, imagine if during the show we had just a line where you could call in and just give takes and hang up, and then you'd have to produce it.
I feel like there'd be a lot of editing done to those,
but like
some censoring.
But like what we do now, like if we had like the crying Joe line or something, I
understand where you're going. Yes,
I know what I would do is I just want to hit play, no editing, unfiltered.
I think we'd go through the dump button in the first 15 seconds, probably.
This is why we need to edit it.
That's why there's a call screener.
But maybe, just maybe, there's a place for that someday. Of just you call there. We'll play it later.
Feels like maybe a social media, thing. We could have a phone line. Maybe. Yeah. I'm not against it, Joe.
All right, musings. Something happened to me on a plane recently. Something happened to Tyler Milliken on a plane recently, and then something happened on a plane recently. We'll tell you what that is next in Musings. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
On a random take, Murray's got all sorts on stuff in the world unrelated to sports. So sit back, relax, and get your mind in the game and listen to the words of a grown man complaining.
Full shows, though. Full shows every night. All right, I'll make it quick tonight. And I have an extender. So if you want to make fun of me, fine. That's fine. I have been judged for it. I don't think anybody should be for it, personally. But I have no shame. So I am sharing it. And this is about airplane etiquette, of course. But Tyler Milliken told me recently that he was on an airplane and also got fat shamed as well. I don't think he's fat, by the way.
Our boy Milliken got fat shamed on an airplane?
Bro.
I would not stand for that.
I did not like it.
What did he tell you the story?
Yeah, he said it on the air, and I just feel as though he was fat shamed twice while traveling. Okay, he was on the flight to Logan. His seatmate got up to use the restroom. After getting into the aisle, he looked at Tyler and said, "I didn't realize that I'd be sitting next to the Patriots offensive line."
That's our sweet special boy Milliken. They can't be talking about him like that.
What it made worse was the other passengers were laughing along.
He got crowd fat shamed.
He also said he got called a name in the middle of the street. But I think there should be punishments for people who are jerks like that in public. Now, I don't know what the punishment should be, but you know what I think a good punishment would be in that case on an airplane? Farts. There's no other way to attack them, right? You're not physically going to do anything. What's the point in saying anything, right? Just be silent but deadly, baby.
Joe, now you're harming. You're harming more than just.
But listen, don't giggle around me. Don't giggle.
You're willing to take some collateral damage.
Oh, guilty by association, baby.
The air ventilation in those things. Not great, Joe. Not great. It's a lot of recycled air.
So that's my musings. You do that, oh baby, we can pay back in ways you don't want to know.
Joe's gonna be eating deviled eggs before he gets on his next flight.
So it brings up
baked beans and deviled eggs while you're boarding.
For real, why is anybody going to fat shame me? I have an extender. It was funny. People were like, hey, what is that? I go, it's my extender. They're like, why do you have an extender? I go, well, I don't fit in a regular seatbelt. So this is one that it makes it longer for me. And they were just like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, dude, it's okay. This can be comfortable. It's okay. If you're large and in charge, it's fine. They have things to get you around it. Don't stress it. I don't care that I have a seatbelt extender. I don't care. But you don't have to comment on it. So, recently on an airplane, Skaz, I saw a video today. I watched it 3 times. And I don't ever... You know how people say LOL? I don't laugh out loud. Like, I'm not a... Oh, I watched this one a couple of times and it made me laugh out loud. It's not long. It's almost something that you might have to visually see. But I figured, it's the Joe Show. Why don't we just manifest it in our minds? Would
you like to set the scene, Joe?
So, you're on an airplane. And somebody's farting. What do? Let's hear the audio, Skaz.
Whoever is farting, don't fart, please. It smells bad.
Joe, that's going to be, me on your flight begging you to stop. Put the deviled eggs down, please.
So bad.
Feel bad for this guy. Feel bad for that plane.
Dude. We'll have to play it again. But, okay, it's not as good on the radio. But everyone...
Everyone in the video, because Joe's losing it, is covering their face.
Like shirt over the nose.
So,
you know when like you just can't deal with it, you have to just shield your nose.
My dog's done that to me before. You know, you get crop dusted by the dog. That's kind of apparently this was taking place on an airplane. There's no escape.
There's no escape. But somebody. Again, I don't. Sorry. Usually when someone is farting like that, usually you get like a, come on, man, chill out with the farts. No, this was like a polite.
This guy's pleading for his life almost.
Whoever is farting, don't fart, please. It smells bad.
Joe, hearing it for the second time, just listen to this beginning part of the clip again, please. Tell me if you hear. Maybe we found the source. It might be the person recording this video.
Wow, you sourced it out, or did you sniff it out? Wow, uncaptured sound.
I don't know, Joe. That sounds like we might have caught one in the act.
Again, do you want to talk about this or the Red Sox loss? Luke's got like his stoic face. I'm crying over here. You get a cramp from laughing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's like that basketball cramp when you went running. Oh, you push it in as hard as you can. Can we hear the guy? He is pleading. You're right. What does he say? It smells? What does he say?
Oh. Whoever is farting, don't fart, please. It smells bad.
It smells bad. I think it's very funny, and maybe everybody else doesn't. Oh my God.
That's a man that's suffering, Joe. That's a man in distress.
Whoever is farting, don't fart, please.
Very polite.
So, dude, I heard this, and I laughed out loud and I threw it in the chat, and I go, musings? Oh, my God. My belly. I told you. Don't do it. Don't piss off the wrong guy.
Whoever is farting, don't fart, please. It smells bad.
It smells bad. Oh. Please do. Please. We weren't even doing fart court. That guy's guilty off the top.
Sometimes the farts come to you, Joe. Sometimes you don't even have to look for them.
Imagine being a player. No. I have a weak stomach, man. I don't know how long I can handle that. And you can't spray anything, right? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know what I would do is I'd probably just open up a bag of chips and or something that wasn't that. The plane's got some smells, bro.
Planes are a dirty, dirty place, Joe.
I'll tell you though, the train is the worst though.
Oh, agreed.
I grew up on the Orange Line.
I don't know. Well, hold on. You ever been on one of those Greyhound buses, Joe? Those can be a place as well. A lot of smells in there.
I went to the safari at Six Flags when I was a kid on one of those. Let's just say I'm not going back. Please. It smells very bad, please.
Whoever is farting, don't fart, please. It smells bad.
Please. It smells bad.
It's so genuine. I feel legit bad for the guy.
Oh, my cramp.
It's like chemical warfare. You're in the air, you can't escape. You're trapped in a tube in the sky with recycled fart air. I'm out on that.
Recycled fart air.
I mean, that's what it is.
That'd be a hell of a graphic.
That's a good that's a good band name right there.
I wasn't expecting that. Well, guys, this is why you don't mess with anybody on a plane. Silent but deadly. And that's what they were.
I don't know. We heard one, Joe.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You know what? Let's talk about the creation of this real quick. I don't know where I saw it. Did I see it like on Insta?
I believe it was a TikTok you put in Slack.
Okay, it was okay. Doom scrolling, right? So what do you think my doom scroll searches are?
I would love to see Joe Murray's For You page. There's farts. There's some beefs.
Today there was a beef. Phantom Gourmet had one. I've never seen it. I gave that old, like the Magnum. What is that?
You bookmarked that one?
I almost texted Dan Andelman, and I'm like, where do I get that? He's actually, that's happened. You know, it's happened before. Hey, man, where'd you get that chicken parm I saw on the show the other day? Oh, I go see my guys over in Wilmington. And I go, all right, dude. And I walk in. He goes, hey, Dan told me he was going to send you. I'm like, I'm here. True story. Beefy farts. What else? What else? Is it birthday days? Do we need, is there any, can we just hear from our fellow one more time? Just, again, one more time. I think the person filming was the perpetrator.
Whoever is farting, don't fart, please. It smells bad.
I hope I'm never at the point in my life where I am begging for someone to stop farting. I hope I never reach that point.
I've laughed so hard tonight that I have a cramp right here. You ever do that? That's how hard I was laughing. That was funny. I hope everybody else enjoyed it as much as we did.
I don't know if anyone enjoys.
I never know sometimes.
I don't know if anyone enjoys farts as much as we do, Joe, but I'm more than happy to play them.
But yeah, I like I get it, right? I've had people on airplanes before being like, you're going to have an uncomfortable ride. And I go, thanks for the reminder. And it's like, why? Why? And you know what? Now I just know I got to fire back in different ways. Silently. All right, birthdays today. How about we start off with Mr. T, who's 73 years old? How about Judge Reinhold? Nick Cassavetes? Sarah Ramos?
Joe, it is Biggie's birthday today.
Oh, I had that one. Okay. Today he would have been 53 years old.
Born on this day in 1972.
53. Okay, serious question, and I'm being serious here. I'm not trying to bring any attention to any. Because I don't think that, you can use lines anymore. I don't.
Oh, because you're saying he's referenced.
Yeah, tell your friends.
Yes.
With my friends. I don't know if we're going to hear that anymore. I don't know if we'll hear, mo money, mo problems. I don't know if we'll get that. Maybe we'll just get Mace. I mean, think about it. Mace was like, I got to go become a priest or whatever he was, Reverend. I'm being serious. I don't know. We don't hear any R. Kelly. Even the collabs that he's done with others. I love the Lady Gaga collab, but we can't play that one anymore. No, we cannot play that one anymore at all. Next. Who else's birthday?
Joe, it is NFL MVP Josh Allen's 29th birthday today.
Good for Joshy. 29 is almost going to be 30, huh?
Almost 30.
That's all anybody cares about.
Joe, you saw the holdovers, right? That Paul Giamatti.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I like
it is Divine Joy Randolph's birthday today. She's very good in that movie.
Yep. I actually like that movie.
Very good movie.
That's pretty good.
I thought, yeah.
Another tough one. Chris Benoit. Jeez. What a tough night we're having. Never mind.
Joe, it is also former Red Sox Andrew Miller's birthday today.
Oh, the big lefty.
The big lefty.
We should leave on some more positive notes. We have any other good ones?
Joe, it is Gary Woodland's birthday today. American golfer, won the U.S. Open in 2019 and recently beat brain cancer, I believe. So,
wow, great story.
Shout out Gary Woodland.
Wow.
He's back on tour. Joe, it is Ricky Williams' birthday today. 1998 Heisman winner.
He's the Heisman of cannabis. Dude, the New York Knicks are a monster in the fourth quarter. I don't know what to say anymore. I took the Pacers. I don't know, man. It's they're monsters, right? You see what they did? It was a 3-point game. 16 now. Sorry to cut your birthday.
No, Joe, you're good. Not a great birthday day, I'll say.
Today, I thought I was losing my mind. I don't know what you meant by that. But I would like to hear our fellow one more time, and then we'll go to break here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Whoever is farting, don't fart, please. It smells bad.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
So the guys who've been so good are Bernardino and Newcomb. Do you question Hendricks going there, Skaz? I feel like he's more of a back of the ball. What inning was that? That was sixth. I feel like he's a 7, 8, 9 guy, don't you? I don't know if that's the spot for him. But he hasn't worked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should. I'm okay with him pulling Crochet when they did.
Me too.
It's 45 degrees out. He's your ace.
I'm just wondering why Hendricks first guy out of the bullpen. That's my question. Why not Bernardino or one of these other guys who's done it, like Justin Wilson or these guys? And I know that they've been using guys every night and the bullpen's tired. Why Hendricks? Is it because he was talking?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the reason, that's not a good reason. Like, if you're just doing it to appease him, that's not what I want the manager doing.
Is it even in the best interest to put him in a, what was it, 6th inning? I just feel like it was a bad spot.
And they're just not hitting. They're not hitting at all. I think they scored 6 runs in the series. They ended up winning, 2 of the games, but they're not hitting enough.
Devers had, a sac fly?
Duran had one, I think. I think it was maybe that was the other night.
Oh, I'm sorry. Duran did hit the sac fly. I don't know why I thought it was Devers. Yep, it was Duran.
But the whole point of getting Garrett Crochet was to get an ace, to get a guy to stop the bleeding. Tonight was an ideal spot
He only gave 1 run.
But I'm saying you're on a 2-game win streak. You're trying to build some momentum. You're going for the sweep, right? And Crochet gives up 1 run, and your guys you're getting struck out, 7, 8 times by Tyler Meagle. It's like, what are we doing here?
You're right. There was some sound I put in the rundown from Pedro Martinez. I know it's a little dated, but you know what? Is it? Because nothing's really changed with this team besides Cora not being there for 1 game, and then, of course, got thrown out last night. But this is why I'm bringing up managerial decisions. I don't know if Ramon Vasquez is the guy. I don't know. I don't. So please don't think I'm doing that. But a managerial decision happened tonight that impacted the team in losing. That's we're working in fact, right? That did happen. It did not happen the previous 2 games with Ramon Vasquez. I'm just stating facts. I'm not saying anyone should be fired. I think at times this year, when you look at losses, although they're hitting, has struggled. The way they've managed the bullpen at times has cost the team games. Pedro Martinez on MLB TV earlier. Let's hear that.
But Devers is the kind of guy that leads by example, and he doesn't need anybody to tell him how to do things. When it comes to first base and approaching him to being a first baseman, I think it was just mishandled. Mishandled by Alex, mishandled by Breslow. Not so much Breslow, but Alex. Because Alex knows Devers really well. And if Alex wanted to tell Devers, go to first and get some ground balls until you get healthy, thinking about the future, Devers would have gone to first, catch some ground balls, and nobody would know that Devers was being trained to be a first baseman. And not even Devers would probably realize that he was actually being conduced to becoming a first baseman, because Devers never says no to any type of work that you ask him to do. He will go to first, he will go to the outfield and catch ground balls, but if you don't communicate well with him and you tell him, well, you're not a third baseman anymore, or if you go just out of the blues and you tell him, hey, you're not a third baseman anymore, throw your glove away, you're going to be a DH. Well, his mind only realized that he was going to be out there to pick up his stick and swing it. And that's exactly what he's doing, what they asked him to do.
Communication, it sounds like to me, Pedro. It sounds like Pedro's talking to him. He was talking to him.
Yeah, and I thought the interesting part of it for me was that he puts more of the blame on Cora than he does Breslow. That's Cora's job, is to talk to the players, to be the guy that's between management and them. He's the middleman. His job is to be the communicator, to make sure everybody's on the same page from the roster to management. And so I think, Pedro's kind of right on the money there, where this is an Alex Cora thing. Alex Cora is that we've been sold is he's a player's guy. He knows how players work, how they operate. That's one of the main reasons he's viewed as such a good manager, because of his relationship with his players. So, yeah, I think that does fall on Cora more than it does Breslow, but Devers has looked pretty good to me as of late.
He's looked pretty good. Doing very well since the old John Henry. Hey, Sarko in Malden. Well, how you feeling, buddy?
Hey, brother.
How you doing?
Oh, man, nice to talk to you, man. Seriously, brother, seriously, man, nice to talk to you, man. How you doing? Hey, what's up to Skies and everybody over there, man? I guess you got a new intern, right?
His name's Luke.
Yeah, Luke. I talked to Luke for a second. Unfortunately, I wasn't able.
I know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No,
go ahead.
I know you've been indisposed for a bit. Were you sad about the Celtics, man?
Yeah, of course. I'm talking about the Celtics, but I was under the weather, and I would have called in. I was so upset. I'm so pissed about it. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm gonna try to be quick. If you give me a moment, but I just want to thank you for the nugget that you gave me. You know what I mean? The Celtics over 5.5, and you know what I mean, and leaning on Indy. That worked out really good, and I appreciate that. You get me?
Oh, yeah, nice. I like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually parlayed that. That's what I did, and it worked out really well. All right. And then I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said all right, man. All right, that's awesome.
Yes, it is. It really is. Thank you. I remember the last time. I think it's not the last time, but I remember when the intern Josh was in there, and then I said I wasn't worried about the Knicks, right? And I said that literally, and that was I think his last day. And, good for him. Okay, the Knicks won. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's not that the Knicks really won. Celtics beat themselves. They beat themselves. You get me? And if you remember, I kept telling you, I'm always pessimistic. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I said that. And I was like, why did I say that, to be honest with you? Because I'm like, I never say something like that. But I felt so strong because why? They were 4-0 during the season. They was winning by over 16 points against the Knicks. And then I'm like, okay, all right, they should be fine. But no, the Celtics got punched in the face and they couldn't react. They couldn't come back. You know what I mean? And then, Skies, I got a quick question for Skies, if it's okay.
Yeah, what you got?
Hey, what's up, guys? The Green Team's podcast, man. Is it going to be over after the season? That's it. It's going to be done.
So we're still on YouTube. We're probably going to do a little playoff one, maybe before the finals, and then anything in the off season that happens, we'll do an emergency podcast. So not totally disappearing, more of a hiatus.
All right, cool. I'll pay attention to that. So one last thing, real quick, something that, seriously to me, the whole Jason Tatum injury, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even see it. I was sleeping, and for a different reason, okay? I was sleeping, I woke up, and then my wife tells me, oh, the Celtics lost and the injury, right? And I'm like, really? Are you kidding me? Right? And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, but then I watched the play. Because nobody has mentioned that Jaylen Brown keeps turning the ball over. So if he didn't turn the ball over, Jason Tatum never would have had to do what he did. You get me? Probably would have never happened. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying he needs to stop the turnovers. He needs to work on his handle more. He said he did it last year. He needs to work on it more this year because it's ridiculous the turnovers that he does. You know what I mean, brother?
I know what you mean, man. I hope you're feeling better. You're talking truth, my man. Appreciate you, dude. Good. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I appreciate you, and I appreciate Skies, my man. Yo, I told you, Skies. Remember what I told you? I got something for you, man. It's coming.
I appreciate it, Sarko.
Appreciate you, Sarko.
All right, brother.
Thanks, man.
All right, y'all have a good night. All right, take care.
Take care. Sarko was laid up for a little bit, so he missed the games, and he's been dying to call in and talk to us. So glad we could do that.
Love to hear from Sarko.
So, what about Charlie in Gloucester? What's up, Charlie?
Hi, how's it going? I was at the game today, and I was watching the bullpen, and I mean, I don't know what the hell Core is thinking, bringing Hendricks in the 6th inning. I mean, I was really disappointed. I mean, I thought we had a chance. We bring him in, he instantly lets up, 3 runs? I mean, I think we need to do better. Core needs to figure it out.
Well,
I'm not sure.
See, Charlie, I just don't like where they pitched Hendrick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like he should be the first guy, but he did speak after the game. He said, we have to use Hendrick. That's on me, of course. But that's on the pitching department. We got to trust him. There's a reason he's here. He's been there, done that. Right now, numbers-wise, he's been solid. So they said they had to use him, and that's why they used him.
Yeah, I agree. That's just not his spot, man.
I know.
I feel like there's
he's an 8th inning closeout game guy.
There, and I would have had much more confidence in that.
You're right.
And
Charlie,
I was hearing the people around me, and I was really disappointed.
We're on the same. Hey, man, we could go share a chowder at Causeway if you really want. That's how much I agree with you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. He didn't want to share a chowder with me. By the way, I love clam chowder. Causeway and Gloucester. Telling you right now, it's up there for one of the best. I love me a chowder. They are good. Very good. All right, we'll hit the headline here. It's 2 things. I'm trying to remember. We'll take a quick break. We'll do the headline. There was something I wanted to do here. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Red Sox lose 5-1 tonight, so they lose to the Mets. They could have swept, but they didn't. I think there's going to be rain tomorrow night. NBA playoffs right now. Pacers and
Can Brown be the number one on a title contender, Jaylen Brown?
I certainly won't say that he can't because he has the talent to be. I'm a fan of this brother Eminem, both Eminems actually.
Hey.
But let me say this. Let me say this to y'all. He can be, but he doesn't deserve that distinction. Not right now. I know he's a champion. I know he's an NBA Finals MVP. The brother can play. But there are two key moments in his career that will ultimately stain him. One was the Eastern Conference Finals Game 7. Boston is down 3-0 to Miami. They come back and they tie it 3-3. There is a Game 7, and Tatum gets hurt early. And it's his to take. And he didn't do it, and Miami beat them and went on to lose to Denver in the NBA Finals. We all know it would have been a better series if Boston had been the ones going up against Denver because they were better suited to go against the Nuggets at that time. And then this Game 6 at the Garden. It was not a loss. It was an annihilation, a beatdown, where the Boston Celtics looked like they quit. They were getting beat so bad. They were so humbled that they just surrendered. And when you are a number one option, because the superstar and Jason Tatum is out for the year and for the foreseeable future with the torn Achilles, and God bless him, hope he gets well soon, that can't escape it. It's not all Brown's fault. It's a collective effort. We get that. We understand it. But you are the $300 million
in a long time in the NBA. And I almost wonder if his injury helps him get that. Like if Jason Tatum comes back and is better than he's been, he's going to get MVP votes. He finished 4th this year. But I think now that he could battle back from the injury and seeing what the Celtics are without him, maybe he gets that vote. So, if you got a bingo card of who the next American that will win the MVP, I think it is Jason Tatum, and I think it could be 2027. I do. So, I'm putting in a bet, guys, for 2027. Jason Tatum, MVP of the league. That's my take.
Yeah, so what? There's been 7 or 8 international MVPs in a row. It's got to be the longest stretch in NBA history, I'd have to imagine. Joe, I love the Tatum take, obviously, but could your best bet for the next American MVP, could it be the number one pick in this year's draft?
Nope. Maybe. Yeah. My only thing is sympathy vote. Sympathy vote. I think SGA was the best player this year, Skaz. I think he deserved it. I think he was the most valuable. How about that? I do. I think he was the most valuable. So anyways, could it be Cooper Flag? Maybe. Maybe. Oh, now I'm getting the Celtics should have kept Aaron Nesmith right now. What is going on here?
Aaron Nesmith has hit 6 threes in a row to make it 121, 123. They fouled Karl Anthony Towns. He missed the second free throw. It is 124, 121 with the Pacers with a little under 20 seconds left. Their
Who
ball.
gets the shot? Halliburton?
You got to go to Nesmith. He's hit 6 in a row. Go to the hot hand. Don't overthink it.
Oh, well, I mean, they have a good coach, so.
Rick Carlisle, former Celtic, right?
Good coach. He's a good coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love him.
He's in, back-to-back conference finals.
So let me know. If it was me, I'd foul.
And he's got a ring, right? Wasn't he Dirk's?
Yeah. With Jason Kidd and them, right?
Jason Terry.
I
don't know. Kidd wasn't on that.
Kidd
was
on
he?
that. Yeah.
I remember Deshaun Stevenson, Dirk, Jason Terry.
Yeah.
Tyson Chandler.
If I'm Thibodeau, I foul.
J.J. Barea, Northeastern legend.
That's right. You're just thinking of that Mavs team, and I'm just like, Tibbs must be thinking what he's going to do. I got Tibbs in my brain, yes. That's what's happened. I'd foul. Don't let them shoot that three. Are you kidding me? Right? Is that what's going on? I don't have the game on.
They fouled.
Thank you. Coach Joe over here. Maybe they'll have me on the bench. I could make a lot of noise. I would definitely put them on the line. Foul them, then you get fouled. But this is where the strategy that Joe Mazzulla was criticized for, right? Putting guys at the line. John's in the car. Hey, John.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
How you doing?
So I'm leaving the Sox game now, and I'm very disappointed in the Sox, and I could go on and on about it. But what I'm more disappointed in is the menu options that we have at Fenway Park. And as somebody that has visited a lot of ballparks, a lot of different stadiums, it is embarrassing what Fenway Park offers us. We might as well be the Brockton Rocks.
Well, what are you looking for?
Joe, I get an Italian sausage that was burnt to a crisp. I get a hot dog that I'm still burping up and I can still taste it. And I got a box of popcorn too, and about half of it was kernels and fucking crumbs.
Hey! So you know what I'll tell you to do, buddy? Go get something on the way home.
10:50, not bad. No, we made it pretty far.
We made it. We made it far. Luke, our intern, did you hear that one? That's called the dumper-roo. The old dump button. You're welcome, chat. He's pissed about kernels and a popcorn. Maybe you should have brought your own container.
A bucket, Joe, of sorts.
A bucket.
A Wally head popcorn bucket?
I'm gonna say this. If I had expectations of food, I'm not going to eat it inside the park. That's no offense to Fenway. I love your food. You feed me, I will eat. But when I go to Fenway, I want a Fenway Frank, and that's up to me. And I do want a piece of street meat. So sometimes if you want street meat, you got to get it on the street. See Charles with a street meat tonight in New York? Love street meat. But I'm just going to tell you, if you think you're burping up a bad Fenway Frank, that's on you, bro. You got to eat before you go to the game or after. I'm not blaming Fenway for their food. You ate it. They serve it, you eat it. They don't force you to eat their food. You can go around the corner. You want to go Wahlburgers, you want to go wherever you want, you can go there. What the hell just happened? Is the game tied?
To be determined.
Tyrese Halliburton just hit a shot. A step back three. That's good. It is now going to be reviewed, but it is a 125 game based off of this three. The Knicks gave the Pacers an opportunity to tie the game, and Halliburton hit a step back three. It looks like we're going into overtime.
That was, obviously we're on the radio right now.
I said go to who? Who did I say go to?
You said Halliburton. He almost blew it too, Joe.
All right, well, hey, listen.
That was one of the more insane sequences you'll ever see in an NBA playoff
Is this
game.
a tie game now or a three?
They're reviewing it, but it looks like his foot was on the line.
So it's a two.
And he did the right to Spike Lee, gave Spike Lee the Reggie Miller. Maybe a premature, but Aaron Nesmith, 6 threes in a row on 6 straight possessions. Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby both miss a free throw. And the Pacers refuse to go away.
They blew it. They gave up a foul on 2 threes in a row, if you remember. Looks like we're going to overtime. For intern Luke,